Chapter 552. Oh my God. You've been in the entertainment industry for so many years. Haven't you seen through the darkness? Do you need me to remind you? You can't let your guard down. Your trip to Southside is a top secret. If it's exposed, your path to stardom won't be easy. I know. After Huamin drove Anyang home, it was already 9:30 a.m. Qin Shu was busy at the company during the day, so he didn't come home. After not seeing Mr. Qin for 2 days, he missed him a lot. He picked up his phone and was about to make a call when Qin Shu called him back. It was a video call. Huamin picked up the phone and smiled sweetly. Hello, Mr. Qin. Are you off work? Yeah, I just got back. Why are you so late today? Yeah, I had to deal with some stuff at work. Look, you have dark circles under your eyes. After this night's shift, you don't have to work anymore. Qin Shu said worriedly. Yeah, after this night's shift, you'll be working the day shift next month. Have you eaten? Are you asking about breakfast or lunch? Qin Shu smiled. Breakfast, of course. It's only 9 a.m. I've eaten. Are you coming back today? You're still working the night shift. I'll be bored if I go back, so I'll stay at the company to deal with work. Okay then, get some rest. After chatting with Qin Shu for a while, Huamin felt extremely sleepy. He curled up on the sofa and fell asleep. He didn't know how long he slept, but he was suddenly woken up by his phone. He looked at the caller ID and saw that it was the same number from this morning. Hello, I left my wallet in your car. I need some ID in it. Can you bring it to me? Wait a second. I'll go downstairs and check. Huamin ran downstairs with his phone. When he opened the door of his car, he saw that there was indeed a Gucci wallet on the passenger seat. It was coffee-colored and looked very exquisite. I do have one. Where should I take it? Southside Recuperation Center. Sanatorium again. It's pretty far. Why don't I bring it to you when I go to work tonight? Send it over now. I won't let you come here for nothing. The other party's tone was cold. That's not what I meant. Huamin wanted to explain that she wasn't doing it for benefits, but Huamin didn't give her a chance to speak. Then, he hung up. Huamin sighed helplessly. She picked up her wallet and rummaged through it. There were bank cards, ID cards, and quite a lot of RMB. There was about 20,000 renminbi. Huamin wrapped the wallet in a paper bag, went upstairs to pack, and drove back to Southside. It was 2 p.m. when they arrived at Southside. Huamin's night shift didn't start until 6 p.m. Therefore, everyone was quite surprised that he came so early. Head nurse, why are you so early today? Okay. Huamin nodded. Then, he returned to his office, took out his phone, and dialed that number again. He didn't expect that the other party's line would be busy, so he sent a message, head nurse of the orthopedics department, come get your wallet. 15 minutes after he sent the message, a woman knocked on the door and walked in. Hello, I'm here to get my wallet. But the wallet isn't yours, Huamin asked cautiously. I'm his agent. It's not convenient for him to show up. Give it to me. Sure, but wait a second. Let me confirm your identity. To prevent fraud, Huamin dialed that number again. Hello? The person picked up the phone. Your agent is here to get your wallet. I'll give it to her. Is that okay? Sure. Okay. After speaking, Huamin quickly hung up the phone and handed the wallet over. The agent took the wallet and checked it to make sure that nothing was left out. Then, she took out 5,000 renminbi and handed it to Huamin. What's the meaning of this? Huamin looked at the agent, amused. Chapter 553. He's a public figure, so please don't tell anyone about this. Also, I'm sure you saw his age on his ID, so please don't say anything. You know that in the entertainment industry, age is a secret. This is just a reward. It's okay. I'll keep it a secret. Don't worry, just take the money. As an employee of Southside, I have basic manners. Okay. Seeing that Huamin didn't want to take the money, the agent didn't insist and turned to leave. As for Ni Yang's ID, she really didn't look at it. What did his age have to do with her? She wasn't a fan of celebrities, so she didn't care about women like Zhao Qingya or Jiantong. While Suyu was in the hospital, the film festival opened, and female celebrities came to visit him every day. She was used to seeing male celebrities trying to curry favor with their boss. Seeing that it was still early and there wasn't much to do at the hospital, Huamin drove back to the old house. Yang Meirong was sunbathing with her tabby cat in her arms. Huamin saw this warm scene as soon as he entered the yard. Mom, why are you back? Yang Meirong opened her eyes and saw Huamin. She seemed to be in a good mood. Nothing much. I just came to see you and buy you some groceries. Huamin knew that she ate very sparingly when she was alone at home, so he bought a lot of vegetables and meat when he passed by the supermarket. Then, he put them in the fridge for her. Don't waste money. I have food, and there's a market nearby. Why waste money? Supermarkets are expensive. Yang Meirong nagged. Huamin only smiled quietly. Jixin came back last night, and he brought a girl home. Yang Meirong suddenly said, Huh? He told you? Huamin was a bit surprised. Yeah, although Jixin is a bit young, it's normal for him to be in a relationship. Which normal boy or girl doesn't date? I'm not that old-fashioned. That girl is quite pretty. She said she's from your hospital. Is that the same hospital you used to work at? Huamin nodded. Yes, she graduated from the same medical school as me. She often calls me senior sister. How's that girl's character? Yang Meirong asked worriedly. His character is quite good, but he's still young after all. I'm afraid that the future is hard to predict. Our family isn't good enough, and Jixin's university isn't good enough. I just want him to find a gentle girl and live the rest of his life peacefully. I don't ask for anything else. Huamin placed his hand on the back of his mother's hand. Mom, we will. I'll take care of Jixin's wedding, don't worry. It's still too early to talk about that. He hasn't graduated yet, and his marriage will only happen in a few years. Yeah, we're all worried about him. As his sister and his mother, we probably care too much about Jixin. Luckily, he's been very obedient all these years and hasn't caused any trouble for us. Everyone in the neighborhood knew how much Huamin loved Jixin. When they were little, as long as there was an apple, she would give it to Jixin. She had always spoiled him. Although she now knew that she was no longer related to him by blood, her love for Jixin only increased. Have you been tired from work lately? You don't seem to be in good spirits. I worked a few night shifts in a row. Maybe it's because I stayed up too late. Huamin smiled as he rubbed the dark circles under his eyes. If you stay up late, you need to sleep more. Don't run around, and drink more beauty soups. You're still young. Don't look like an old woman. I know, Mom. I'll keep that in mind. Huamin smiled as he held onto her arm. It had been a long time since he dared to be so close to her. He was afraid that she would reject him. However, Yang Meirong's attitude towards Huamin seemed to have improved quite a bit. Maybe it was because of Jixin's roar last time that she was enlightened. Does he treat you well? After a long silence, Yang Meirong suddenly asked. Huamin knew that his mother was talking about Qin Shu. Chapter 554. Mom, to be honest, he's really good to me. Super good. Huamin used super twice in a row to magnify this good to the extreme. Yang Meirong knew Huamin well. She wasn't a child who liked to lie, so she believed what she said was true. If that's the case, then I'm relieved. After all, he's not like his parents, who have a human face but a beast's heart. Mom, thank you for understanding. So what if I don't? It's been so long. Jixin was right about one thing. You've been tired, I've been tired, and everyone's tired. If I don't let go, you'll be the one suffering. We're mother and daughter. Why should I make things difficult for my own daughter? Mom, thank you. Huamin grabbed Yang Meirong's hand, a little emotional. She didn't think that her mother would grant her wish so soon. If he dares to betray you in the future, Jixin and I won't let him off the hook. His family might be rich, but we're not afraid of him. I'm old, and I only have one life left. For you and Jixin, I'm willing to do anything. Yang Meirong had a sharp tongue, but a soft heart, so Huamin knew that she meant what she said. He won't, Mom. If he dares to betray me, I won't let him off the hook. Huamin smiled. She had a simple afternoon meal with her mother. There were 2 dishes, 1 meat dish, 1 vegetable dish, and soup. Yang Meirong saw that Huamin wasn't in good spirits, so she kept pouring soup for her. Huamin couldn't refuse her kindness and drank 3 bowls. In the end, she couldn't drink anymore. After eating, she chatted with her mother for a while. Then, she looked at her phone and saw that it was about time. She had just returned to Southside when she heard that Director Lee from the neurology department wanted to talk to her about something urgent. Huamin changed into her white lab coat and immediately went to the neurology department on the 5th floor, because of Huang Jiaming's incident, Huamin had interacted with the neurology department many times. After a while, she became familiar with them. Director Li of the neurology department admired Huamin's talent. He had once told Director Wu at a conference. Huamin openly challenged Associate Hospital Director Gua, and his analysis of the Department of Neurology was clear and logical. At the time, Chief Li thought that it was such a waste for Huamin to be the head nurse. Director Li, are you looking for me? Director Li was an old lady in her 50s. Although she was young, her hair was already white. He had a benevolent look on his face and was very popular. He was also very popular in South Side. Huamin, have a seat. Huamin nodded and sat on the chair opposite Director Li's office. Huamin, I've always felt that you've studied neurology. Do you still remember Huang Jiaming? I remember. He went back to school after he was discharged. He's recovering very well. It's all thanks to the treatment plan you gave him. It's very useful. It's good that the child can recover. Huamin smiled with relief. I'm here today because I need your help with something. Please go ahead, Director Li. Huamin felt quite bad that such an old professor was personally asking for his help. I've just received a new patient. His condition is quite complicated. I hope that you can help me with his condition and come up with the best treatment plan. Then, we can help him recover. That's not a problem. What's his condition? Depression. Upon hearing the word depression, Huamin's expression changed. Depression was one of the most dangerous types of mental illness. This was because most people with depression had suicidal tendencies. To them, life was meaningless, and death was their only release. Depression. It's quite difficult. I don't have any experience with it, Director Li. Huamin didn't dare to make any promises. After all, this was a matter of life and death. That's not a problem. I believe in your ability and ability. How about this? Take a look at his medical record first, and then make a decision. After speaking, Director Li handed Huamin a medical record. When she flipped to the first page and saw the name, her hand that was holding the document froze slightly. And Ayong? That superstar actually suffered from depression. Chapter 555. Director Li this? Huamin looked at Director Li in confusion. The medical records of superstars were supposed to be top secret. Was it really okay for Director Li to show it to him in public? It's fine. I know what you want to ask. I trust you, Huamin. You've been at Southside for quite some time. As the saying goes, distance tests a horse, and time reveals a person's heart. I've got to know you well over the past few months. You're actually a kind-hearted girl. You don't like to meddle in other people's business because you're afraid of trouble, but you definitely don't condone evil. That's why you've offended Deputy Director Gua and his brother-in-law, right? Director Li, I'm not as high and mighty as you make me out to be. I'm just working for a living, Huamin said with a humble smile. Kid, I've been in the hospital for a long time. I'm not wrong about people. Actually, I've already asked President Wu to let you help me in the neurology department, but I heard that you refuse to be a doctor for in-service training. I don't want to ask about your personal reasons. It's all private. I just think it's a pity that you're such a talented person. Staying in the orthopedics department as a head nurse is a waste of your talents. Director Li, let me finish, kid. Since Director Li was quite old, Huamin felt very warm when she called him a kid. Okay, go ahead. Looking at how cute Director Li was trying her best to convince him, Huamin truly thought she was an adorable old lady. Once at the conference, I saw you openly refuting Deputy Dean Gua. You used the theoretical knowledge of professional neurology to make him slap his face. At that time, I felt that you didn't study it on a whim. You might also like this aspect, so you put in the effort, right? Yeah, I'm interested in neurology, ophthalmology, and neurosurgery. I studied a lot in school, but I don't have any clinical experience. When I was at the first hospital, I did my internship in the OB/GYN department. Huamin nodded and said honestly, I know. That's why I think that if you come to help me this time, you can treat it as a clinical trial. Are you willing to come? Director Li, he's a superstar. If the treatment fails, it will damage your reputation. Are you sure you want me to come over? Huamin asked worriedly. Don't worry. I'll take responsibility no matter what happens. I won't implicate you. That's not what I meant. I'm just worried. Don't worry about anything. I'll take care of everything. Director Li patted his chest and promised. Huamin was very touched. She had always admired people who were upright and kind. Needless to say, Director Li's medical skills were excellent. As a professional professor, he was also very upright. Therefore, even though this matter had nothing to do with Huamin, she still agreed to Director Li's request. If that's the case, I'll give it a try. Director, I might not succeed. Huamin didn't beat around the bush, I know. After all, depression can't be cured immediately. If it was cured, you would be a god. It's a mental illness that the whole world can't treat. And Yang's condition is quite bad. He also has insomnia and anxiety in his eyes. His agent is afraid that he can't take it anymore, so he came to ask for help. Also, because Southside is quite secretive, they chose us. Just do your best. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Okay, Huamin nodded. Then I'll take you to see the patient first. Why don't you talk to him first? Director Li asked tentatively. Okay, but Director Li, what about the orthopedics department? Don't worry about that. I'll ask President Wu to transfer a head nurse over to take care of it. You just need to focus on this case. Okay, I got it. One couldn't multitask. Huamin couldn't manage the orthopedics department and the neurology department at the same time. Fortunately, Director Li was well prepared. She called President Wu and asked for a transfer. Not only did President Wu agree without hesitation, but he also agreed to let Director Li train Huamin more. Huamin met with Yang alone in the VIP consultation room of the neurology department. He was still wearing the same mask. He looked haggard as he sat on the windowsill and looked out the window. Hello, I'm your assistant physician, Huamin. Huamin introduced himself as soon as he entered the room, hoping to close the gap between him and Yang. Chapter 556. Yang turned his head to look at Huamin, but his expression didn't change at all. It's you. Obviously, he remembered her. Director Li invited me to participate in your treatment. I hope that you can cooperate with me during this period of time so that we can complete a treatment plan to alleviate your illness. I'm not sick, I just don't like to talk. Huamin smiled slightly. I know, being in a bad mood for too long is also a type of illness. I won't treat you like a special patient, and you shouldn't treat yourself like a patient either. Let's just chat like friends. Hearing Huamin's words, Yang seemed to let down his guard. He walked over and sat across from Huamin. Sister Ingzi said that you might leak my age to the media, but I said that you wouldn't. If I said that I didn't see your birth date on your ID, would you believe me? Huamin looked at him, feeling wronged. Yang slowly took off his mask, revealing that clean and delicate face and that sorrowful smile. I believe you. I've always believed in the beauty of this world. That's why I fell so hard. He smiled bitterly. Huamin thought that Yang had a heavy burden on his heart, as if he had been lied to before. Of course, this was just a guess, and it might not be true. Actually, sometimes people aren't happy because they have more, but because they don't care too much. We can't care too much about our gains and losses, and we can't care too much about what others think of us. First of all, you have to face your own heart. When you don't doubt whether or not you're happy, then you're truly happy. Yang froze slightly. Then he laughed mockingly. You must have read too much chicken soup for the soul on the internet. No, what I'm trying to say is that if you can understand, you might not be in so much pain, Huamin comforted him. I've heard many great truths, but I still can't live a good life. Yang lowered his head and murmured. Compared to many of your peers, you're already very outstanding. You have tens of millions of fans. You have the halo of a superstar. You like to sing, so you sing. You want to release an album, so you release it. You're doing things that many people dream of. You're not happy probably because you've gotten too much. It's lonely at the top. When Yang heard this, he seemed to be slightly moved. He lifted his head and looked at Huamin. If it's possible, I would really like to exchange places with you right now. You could be a superstar, and I could be an ordinary person. You're wrong. You haven't experienced my life, so you think it's very peaceful. You don't know that everyone's life is full of storms and waves. Life can't be smooth sailing. You envy me because you don't understand me. If you understood my experience, perhaps you would be satisfied with your current life. Can my illness be cured? You're finally admitting that it's an illness. Huamin couldn't help but ask with a smile. Who was the one who said that he wasn't sick and that he was just in a bad mood? Didn't you say that being in a bad mood is also a type of illness? After speaking, the two looked at each other and smiled. Huamin saw that the timing was right, so he picked up the medical record and looked at it. Your situation is a bit complicated. Director Lee diagnosed you with depression, insomnia, and anxiety. But I think you might have other conditions, such as neurasthenia, trigeminal and cerebrovascular pain, etc. So, I'm going to treat your insomnia first. A person's mental state can only improve after a good rest. I'm taking sleeping pills. And Yang said in a low voice. What I mean is from now on, you can stop taking those sleeping pills. Why? Aren't you going to treat my insomnia? How am I going to treat it if I stop taking the pills? And Yang was a bit confused. At this moment, he wondered if Huamin was a professional or not. Chapter 557. Yes, I'm going to cure it completely, not let you rely on drugs. If you take too many sleeping pills, they will control the nerves in your brain. There will be a lot of side effects. Of course, if you trust me, I can give you a wholehearted plan. You can choose to continue living or not. After hearing this, Yang was silent and hesitated for a long time. When Huamin came out of the VIP consultation room, she was smiling because Yang finally compromised and chose to believe her. Treating depression was a long and arduous task. It was not something that could be done in a day or two. Since Director Lee believed in her, she could not let her down. Girl, what are you busy with? Zhu Lingling sent Huamin a WeChat message as soon as she got off the plane. I'm busy with my treatment. Guess who I just saw on the plane? It's actually the male star Zhang Yu, the guy who often acts as the second male lead in anti-Japanese dramas. He's quite handsome, but he's so stingy. He actually brought his agent and assistant to sit in economy class, and he even wore a big mask. Haha, Zhu Lingling said proudly. Can I say that I just saw Yang? Fuck who? Who did you see? Zhu Lingling suddenly lost her calm. Yang. Fuck. 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 Zhu Lingling used 3 fucks to express her feelings at this moment. Why are you so surprised? Is it necessary? Yes, you don't know how mysterious Yang is. He's so popular that it's almost purple, but his whereabouts are very mysterious and low-key. When he travels, not only does he sit in first class, but he also refuses to serve any service, not even meals. Even the stewardesses can't see him. At most, we see his back when he boards the plane, or his face with a mask and sunglasses. Did you know? The tabloid media out there is buying any information about Yang. As long as it's related to him, even if it's just a yawn, a photo of him will be sold for 100,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan? Huamin suddenly felt embarrassed. If she were to sell Yang's ID card, wouldn't she be able to sell it for millions? If she were to be even more wicked and sell Yang's medical records, wouldn't she be able to sell them for tens of millions? It was really easy to earn money. He could become rich in a matter of minutes. But would she do that? Of course not. Protecting the patient's privacy was the most basic morality of a medical worker. If he didn't even have this bit of morality, how could he stay in the medical field? Yes, 100,000 yuan. So you saw Yang in the hospital. Did you take a photo? Zhu Lingling asked. No. Then why did Yang go to your hospital? Visiting a friend. Huamin made up a story. It wasn't that she didn't trust Ling Ling, but she was very angry. She didn't want to take the risk. She trusted Ling Ling, but what if Ling Ling also trusted someone else? If word got out, it wouldn't be good if news about Yang got out. Oh, I think I heard about it too. I saw on the news that his fans are crazy and follow him everywhere he goes. Yeah, when he came to the hospital, there was a huge crowd outside. Huamin knew this very well. Haha, then tell me, is Yang handsome in person? Is he as handsome as your Mr. Qin? No, Huamin said decisively. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, okay? Yang is ranked #1 in Asia's top 10 most attractive male celebrities in Asia. I don't follow celebrities, I don't understand, Huamin replied calmly. How about compared to Su Yu? Is he as handsome as young Master Su? Zhu Lingling didn't give up. He's okay. I really don't know how to judge these things, sister. I know. You only have eyes for your Mr. Qin. Stop torturing us. Zhu Lingling giggled. After chatting with Zhu Lingling for a while, Huamin went back to the orthopedics department to hand over some work. After all, he was going to be busy in the neurology department. After handing over his work, he was about to go eat when he ran into Su Yu in the hallway. Tang Chuan was with him, but Wei Liao was nowhere to be seen. Hello, head nurse. After witnessing Hua Mian's power, Tang Chuan would always greet her jokingly every time they met. Chapter 558. Huami nodded and smiled as a greeting. Where are you going? Tang Chuan asked playfully. I'm going to staff cafeteria for dinner. What a coincidence. We haven't eaten yet either. Why don't we eat together? Tang Chuan volunteered. Su Yu, on the other hand, didn't say anything. He just looked at Huamin. The food in our cafeteria is super disgusting. Huamin reminded him in a friendly manner. It's okay. Lord Su and I don't have any dietary restrictions. As long as it's food, it's fine, right? Lord Su? After saying this, Tang Chuan deliberately looked at Su Yu and asked, then he quietly added, I'll be discharged tomorrow morning. You won't have the chance to come to Southside so openly in the future. I'm giving you a chance, so you have to cherish it. Unexpectedly, after Su Yu heard what Tang Chuan said, he said, the food in your staff cafeteria is really disgusting. It's like pig feed. Tang Chuan, Huamin, bro, is it really okay for you to expose me like this? I can only help you up to this point. Tang Chuan thought that Su Yu was crazy. He was giving him a chance to treat his illness, but not only did he not appreciate it, he even said that the food in the staff cafeteria was like pig feed. How could he still have friends if he talked like this? However, only Huamin could treat someone like Su Yu. Huamin looked at him and said word by word, You're saying it like you've eaten pig feed before. Otherwise, how would you know that pig feed is disgusting? Tang Chuan, Su Yu, haha. Huamin, you're awesome. Other than the wall, I won't submit to anyone but you. Tang Chuan burst into laughter and gave him a thumbs up. Su Yu's face darkened. I'm going to eat first. Bye. Huamin felt that there was no need to waste time with these two rich kids. The food in the staff cafeteria was bad, but if she didn't eat it, wouldn't her meal card be wasted? It was not a good habit to waste food from the motherland. He simply turned around and walked towards the restaurant. Unexpectedly, she had only taken a few steps when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned around and saw that the two of them had followed her. Didn't you just say it was like pig swill? She looked at Su Yu in amusement and asked. Yes, I want to eat pig swill today. I don't want to eat anything else. Su Yu replied domineeringly. Huamin was so shocked that he was almost petrified. Don't lower yourself to his level. He's just as willful at home. Tang Chuan advised Huamin with a smile. 10 minutes later, the three of them sat in the hospital's cafeteria. The scene of hundreds of people eating together was really spectacular. Ever since Su Yu retired from the military, he had never seen such a lively scene. Tang Chuan lowered his head and looked at the braised meatballs, stir-fried Chinese cabbage and wood ear, and a watermelon soup on his plate. He didn't know where to start. After all, these rich people had very tricky appetites. Usually, when Su Yu and Tang Chuan went to the cafeteria, they would order at least 10 dishes. They would only take a few bites of each dish just to taste it. This was the first time he saw such a shabby dinner. The problem was it was really bad. Tang Chuan took a bite of the meatballs and immediately cursed. Fuck, does this chef buy salt for free? I bet he put a bag of salt here. Huamin lowered his head and took a small bite as well. Then he smiled and said, It's okay, it's always like this. I'm used to it. If you guys don't like it, then hurry up and leave. Don't take up seats here and waste food. To his surprise, Su Yu picked up his chopsticks and put the meatballs from Tang Chuan's plate onto his own. What are you doing? Lord Su, didn't you say it was salty? Then I'll eat it for you. Oh, right. This isn't salty. You can have it all. After speaking, Su Yu gave all the stir-fried Chinese cabbage and wood ear to Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan suddenly felt like countless alpacas were running through his mind. Blackwood ear. Blackwood ear. This dish, let alone eating it, just looking at it made him sick. This Southside cafeteria was so dark. He really admired how Huamin could eat here every day. At this moment, they were so focused on eating that no one noticed the sound of a camera in the corner. GK headquarters. Qin Chu had just finished a meeting and was about to get off work when he saw his mother walk in angrily. Son, I want to show you something. After speaking, Lady Qin took out her phone and showed it to Qin Chu. Chapter 559. After Qin Chu looked at the photos, he asked calmly, Mom, where did you get these photos? The photos were of Su Yu and Huamin eating together at a restaurant. They seemed to be talking and laughing. Su Yu looked at Huamin gently, while Huamin was eating with his head down. Although it was only a side profile, it was clear that it was Huamin. You don't need to know where I got these photos from. Don't you think this woman is indecent? She's already married to you, but she's still flirting outside. Our family is so rich, she doesn't need to worry about food and clothes, but she still wants to expose herself. If she's not despicable, then what is? Mom, did you ask someone to follow her and take these photos? Qin Chu's expression didn't look too good. It wasn't because of the photos of Huamin, but because he was afraid that his mother would follow Huamin and investigate her. Why would I? In your eyes, am I that kind of despicable and shameless person? Do I have nothing better to do than to secretly take photos of her? Is she worth it? An unknown number sent this to me an hour ago. I called back, but I couldn't get through. Lady Qin raised her voice and explained. Let me see. Qin Chu took his mother's phone and looked at it. It was indeed an MMS from another number. However, the number was garbled and couldn't be called back. Qin Chu knew that this number was created by hackers online. It wouldn't leave any traces. Okay, I got it. What do you mean you got it? You have to divorce her. The Qin family doesn't want a woman like her. After Mrs. Qin took the photos, she immediately ran to the company to complain to Qin Chu. She wanted to quickly destroy the relationship between Huamin and Qin Chu. Mom, you're too nervous. This is nothing. It's just a daily photo. She has so many people in the hospital, and so many male colleagues come and go. Isn't it normal for her to eat together? Qin Chu laughed. Heavens! Son, do you think I'm a fool? If it was an ordinary colleague, would I still be so angry? The man in the photo was not from the hospital. He was Su Yu. Did you know that? That second generation of the Su clan. Don't pretend you don't know. I know it's impossible that you don't know. Huamin is a vixen. Not only did she bewitch you, she's now seducing the Su clan. She's really shameless. I've never seen such a woman. Lady Qin was very agitated at this moment. It seemed that no amount of cursing was enough to vent her anger. She had always been prejudiced against Huamin, so she was about to explode from anger. Mom, so you know that person is Su Yu. That's impressive. Qin Chu smiled meaningfully. I occasionally drink tea and play cards with Mrs. Su, so of course I'm familiar with Su Yu. I don't even know when Su Yu met her. That woman is really restless. Son, we can't have her. We have to find a girl with a clean background to live with and have children with. Okay? Listen to me. Lady Qin tried both soft and hard methods. When she saw that Qin Chu was unmoved, she began to put on a pitiful act and tried to persuade her son with tears in her eyes. Mom, do you think I'm a smart person or an idiot? When Lady Qin heard Qin Chu's question, she paused for a second before replying. Of course my son is a smart person. Then you think I can't tell right from wrong? Do I only listen to one side of the story? Qin Chu asked again. This isn't just one side of the story. This is solid evidence. Son, wake up. Look at these photos. Although they're not in bed, I believe that these are signs of cheating. Su Yu isn't an ordinary person. I don't believe that their meeting was a coincidence. It must be that woman's deliberate plan, just like how she purposely approached you at second high. Lady Qin always thought that Huamin and Qin Chu were set up so that she could marry into a rich family. Chapter 560. Mom, I'm very clear-headed. If you admit that I'm not an idiot, then trust my judgment, okay? Chu, Mom wants to talk to you. However, before Mrs. Qin could finish her sentence, her son interrupted her. Yang, take my mom out. She's tired. Qin Chu ordered coldly. Yes, sir. Mrs. Chairman, this way, please. The president still has important documents to sign. Yang carefully watched the mother and son battle, not daring to offend either of them. In the end, Lady Qin had no choice but to clench her teeth and leave. Qin Shu then lowered his head and went back to work. When it was almost time to get off work, he turned off his computer and asked Yang, "Tell me, if your mom and your wife fell into the water at the same time, who would you save first?" Sir, stop messing around. Hurry up and tell me," Qin Shu urged. "Of course it would be my mom," Yang answered confidently. "You're so filial?" Qin Shu didn't think that the wife-loving Yang would choose his mother without hesitation. It was quite surprising. "Because my wife knows how to swim, Qin Shu was speechless. "I'll deduct all of your bonuses for this month." After speaking, Qin Shu got up and walked out. "Sir, you can't be like this. If you're not happy with my answer, you'll deduct my bonus. Then I'll answer again. I'll save my wife first. Then you won't get next month's bonus either." "How unfilial," Qin Shu said in all seriousness. Another bolt from the blue. "Sir, if you want to deduct my bonus, just say so. Don't ask such complicated questions next time, okay?" Yang felt wronged. "I already recorded what we just said. I'll send it to your wife in a bit, so she can listen to it." "Fuck." Yang's heart was boiling. "Sir, what do you need me to do? Please tell me. I'm willing to do anything for you, as long as you don't torture me like this." "You don't have to do anything for me, but you need to be more careful in the future and don't let my mom into the office." It was about that. Assistant Yang immediately let out a sigh of relief. "Don't worry, boss. The next time your mother comes, I'll immediately kick her out. No, I'll ask her to leave. I promise I won't let the chairman's wife enter your office, even if she yells at me." For the sake of the bonus, Yang was ready to go all out. "Okay." Qin Shu nodded with satisfaction. "But what if the chairman comes? Do I have to kick him out?" "No. Do I have to ask him to leave?" Yang asked hesitantly. "No need. My dad won't come looking for me easily." Qin Shu knew his father well. He was a cautious person. He wouldn't be like his mother, who couldn't wait for the whole world to know the slightest sign of trouble. After leaving GK, he didn't go home because Huamin wasn't home. He had been working the night shift lately. Thus, he drove to Southside. The weather in late autumn was already a little cold, especially at night. The temperature dropped a lot. Qin Shu was wearing a limited edition VR jacket. It was navy blue with a pure white long-sleeve shirt inside. It matched perfectly. After all, with a good-looking face, anything he wore would be off the charts. "Are you off work yet? Want to come out for a drink?" Gao Ran sent him a WeChat message. "No, I have to keep my wife company," Qin Shu proudly replied. "Wait, Sharp Tongue Ling said that your wife has been working the night shift lately." Gao Ran was indeed a detective and was well informed. "That's why I have to go to the hospital with her." "Damn, I can't take it anymore. Can't you stop torturing me with your words?" Gao Ran looked at him with disdain and then hung up. Huamin was currently in his office flipping through files and medical records of patients with depression. He was coming up with a treatment plan for An Yang. She smiled sweetly when she received the call. "Honey, did you miss me?" Qin Shu asked on the other end of the phone. "I did," Huamin replied with a smile. "Did you want to see me?" "Yes, let's do a video call." As he spoke, Huamin picked up his phone and was about to turn on the video call mode. Just as he was about to do a video call, he saw the person in the office push open, and then her gorgeous husband stood at the door. "You?" Huamin was pleasantly surprised. Chapter 561. Am I hallucinating? Why is Mr. Qin here? Huamin smiled. "Because Mr. Qin misses you a lot." Qin Shu's lips were filled with gentleness. If you were lucky enough to look into his eyes right now, you would definitely melt into his gentle gaze. Without another word, Huamin threw herself at him. She wrapped her arms around Qin Shu's neck. Luckily, they were in a private office, so no one could see the head nurse, who was usually so calm and collected. She also had such a coquettish and clingy side. "Did you just get off work?" Huamin looked up and asked with a smile. "Yeah, you haven't eaten yet, right?" "No." Then what should I do? I already ate. If I knew you were coming, I wouldn't have eaten." "It's okay, I'm not hungry." "No, wait for me. I'll find you something to eat." Huamin held onto Qin Shu's hand. and sat him down on a chair. Then, she opened a small cabinet under her desk. She rummaged through the cabinets and took out a bunch of snacks. They were all snacks that she had to eat to save time when she was busy with work. There was sakama, date cake, Marco Polo ham, jelly with fruit, and mango yogurt. Hurry up and eat some. It's not good for your stomach if you starve for too long. Make do with these for now. I'll take you to a nearby restaurant after I'm done with work. It's okay, I'll eat these. Chin-Chu never ate snacks, but he knew how Huamin felt. She wanted to share all the good food with him, just like how a kindergarten kid would share lollipops with their friends. Chin-Chu picked up the cake and took a bite, then drank a mouthful of yogurt. Huamin immediately picked up a tissue from the table and handed it to him. Have you been busy lately? Chin-Chu asked with concern. Huamin felt a little guilty. Yes, the orthopedics department is already very busy, and I receive a neurology patient from Chief Lee today, so I might be even busier in the future. Once she got busy, she would have a lot of night shifts, so she would have very little time to accompany Chin-Chu. I'm fine, as long as you take care of your body. I'm just worried that you'll be too tired and your body won't be able to take it. I won't. I'll be careful. I won't let Mr. Chin worry, I promise. Huamin smiled and raised his hand. Chin-Chu looked at her and smiled dotingly. Chin-Chu knew that Huamin loved medical research, so he was 100% supportive of her career. She would never complain that you worked so hard and couldn't earn much. This was because many professions couldn't be measured by money. They were more in terms of value. When a person's heart is small, their perspective will be small, and their vision will also be small. When a person's heart is large, their vision will also be large, and their vision will also be large. Chin-Chu always knew that Huamin wasn't a normal person, and that his wife was a medical genius who was beyond arrogant. Honey, you did your PhD at Harvard, so you must know a lot of top professors. Do you know anything about neurology? A little. Chin-Chu put down the yogurt and looked at Huamin as he replied humbly. I have a difficult neurology problem that I might need your help with. Take a look at this patient's condition first. Huamin organized N.I. Yang's condition into detailed information and handed it to Chin-Chu. After Chin-Chu read it carefully, he concluded, this person is in the late stages of depression and is at risk of suicide at any time. The chances of him being cured are very low. If he were in the States, the doctors would recommend him to take tranquilizers to control his emotions. That's right, he's taking tranquilizers right now, but the effects aren't good. Maybe it's because of his career, but he's under a lot of pressure. Most importantly, I think he might have been betrayed, so he's been suppressed and can't release his emotions. My suggestion is for him to stop taking tranquilizers and do psychological rehabilitation first. How do you plan on treating him? Chin-Chu looked at her and asked quietly. Chapter 562. I'm going to try and see if I can undo the knot in his heart, and then think of other ways to focus his attention. Once a person loses the desire to live, it must be because there's nothing in this world that he can't bear to leave. I have to find something that he can't bear to leave before that happens. Huamin confidently discussed her idea with Chin-Chu, the medical doctor. It's easy to say, but hard to put into practice. Mian, patients with depression always have a lock in their heart, and it won't be easily opened by others. This might be a difficult case to solve, but since you want to take it, I'll help you. Thank you, honey. Huamin thought that Chin-Chu would persuade her to give up on this patient. She didn't expect him to be 100% supportive, and her mood instantly improved. Then she naughtily took a piece of sakama, took half of it, and gave the rest to Chin-Chu. This is delicious, but it's too sweet. For your health, I have to help you finish half of it. Chin-Chu took the sakama with a smile and quietly ate it. He didn't mind that it was Huamin's leftovers at all. How old is this patient? Chin-Chu casually asked as he ate. Huamin froze for a second, because she really didn't know how old N.I. Yang was. His agent seemed to hate this and didn't even write it in his medical records. What's wrong? Chin-Chu asked when he saw that Huamin was slightly stunned. I don't know how old he is. Because he's an actor, it's a bit confidential. Should I call Dr. Lee and ask? Huamin was about to make the call. However, Chin Chu said, "No need." Then, Chin Chu turned on his phone and looked up Ai Yang on Baidu. The year 1992 was written on it. This meant that he was 25 years old this year. Even if it was fake, the difference wouldn't be too big. The patient is between 25 to 30 years old. He's still young, so there's still a chance for him to be cured. You did the right thing. Stop his medication first and restore his normal thinking. However, his condition is quite serious now. If you stop the medication abruptly, it will be dangerous. So, I suggest hypnosis. Hypnosis? Huamin was slightly startled. That's right. You'd better ask your hospital to find an outstanding psychologist to hypnotize him. First, find out what the shadow in his heart is, and then solve the knot in his heart through hypnosis. After that, when he's not so anxious, you can proceed to the second step, which is to find a reason for him to live. It's a good idea, but I don't know if the person involved will accept it. After all, it involves privacy. Celebrities are all very concerned about this. You can talk to him about this. I believe that with your persuasiveness, he will definitely agree. Chin Chu was very confident in Huamin. Huamin smiled and walked to Chin Chu's side. She placed her small hand in his broad palm. "Thank you, Mr. Chin, for your advice. I have no words to express my gratitude. If you really want to thank me, why don't you do something more practical?" Chin Chu's lips curled up, for example. Huamin looked at him and asked, "The night is still young. Dr. Hua, do you want to do something?" Chin Chu said as he pulled Huamin into his arms. Then his hands began to wander around. "This is the office. It'll be bad if someone comes in. I just want to kiss my wife. What's so bad about that?" Chin Chu didn't think much of it. I see." Huamin was scared for nothing. She thought that Mr. Chin was going to do it with her in the office. "What did you think?" Chin Chu smiled wickedly. "Ahem. I didn't think anything of it." Huamin blushed and denied it. "If it's nothing, why are you blushing?" Chin Chu asked mischievously. Before Huamin could finish, Chin Chu's slightly cold lips captured hers. Then, they melted into a passionate kiss. Chapter 563. After a while, Chin Chu finally let go of Huamin. Huamin, on the other hand, thought what they did was too bold. If someone came in and saw them, it would be so embarrassing. Shouldn't they do this at home? Seeing Huamin's blushing face, Chin Chu's lips curved up slightly. "Honey, I'll leave you to work. I'm going to go now." "So soon?" Huamin was reluctant to leave. "You're still working. I can't stay here and disturb you." As Chin Chu spoke, he stood up with a smile on his face. Huamin quietly followed behind him, her small hand held in his big hand. Chin Chu didn't tell Huamin about the photos that were secretly taken, nor did he ask her, because he trusted his wife 100%. The people who took the photos had ulterior motives. They wanted nothing more than to ruin their relationship. He thought of few people. The first one was that his mother directed and acted in a show, and she hired someone to take the photos herself. The second one was that psycho Huasiqian. He might have started to make a move, so he hired someone to take the photos and send them to his mother in an attempt to cause internal strife in the Qin family. The third one was Suyu. Chin Chu already knew how he felt about Huamin, but he didn't do anything about it. This wasn't the style of the young master of the Su family, so the possibility of Suyu being the culprit was very high. When the two arrived at the entrance of the hospital, Suyu happened to come out as well. When he saw Huamin, his eyes lit up, but when he saw Chin Chu, they instantly dimmed. What a coincidence, President Su. Chin Chu never shied away from greeting Suyu, and he knew that when it came to Huamin, he would never lose to Suyu. He believed in his 10-year relationship with Huamin. Yeah, what a coincidence. Suyu also greeted him with a cold smile. This was the first time the two of them met in private after parting ways on Gamble God, but they didn't expect it to be at the hospital. Chin Chu smiled slightly and turned around. "Honey, you could drop me off here. You should go back to work." "Okay." Huamin nodded obediently. Chin Chu's plan was to possess Huamin and kiss Su, but he didn't. Because he didn't want to. Because he didn't want to play such a childish trick. He didn't need to tell everyone that he loved Huamin. He just needed to keep it to himself. Chin Chu then walked out of the hospital, and Suyu followed him. It seemed like he was going to leave as well. You came to the hospital to spy on Huamin? Check on her? You don't trust Huamin? So you asked with a smile. Wrong. If I didn't trust her, I would have just told her to quit her job and stay at home. She wouldn't have to come to the hospital every day and work the night shift. So put away your useless guesses. Qin Chu laughed. You seem to have a lot of confidence in yourself. You think Huamin won't have a change of heart, right? You don't have to say that. Do you think she's a fickle person? Qin Chu asked back. That's not it. I just feel like I lost a chance. If you didn't show up first, she would have been mine. Of course, you showed up earlier than me, so there's nothing I can do about it. So, I think if you quit one day, she'll still be mine. I'll never quit, never. Haha, don't say that too soon. You never know which will come first, tomorrow, or an accident. So, don't be too sure about some things. What if it comes true in the future? So you continued to laugh. President Su, you seem to have a lot of free time these days. Qin Chu looked at Suyu meaningfully. So, what do you plan to do? Do you want to fight me? So you took out a lollipop out of nowhere and put it in his mouth, looking at Qin Chu provocatively. Chapter 564. Qin Chu looked at him and said, word for word, although I know my Mion doesn't like you, I still hate it when you show up at Southside so often. I think you have too much time on your hands. But it's okay. I'm sure you'll be very busy starting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a good day. Then, Qin Chu smiled mysteriously, got into his Maybach, and left. His driving skills were good. Suyu really wanted to chase after Qin Chu and race him, but now wasn't the time. Plus, Qin Chu's car wasn't a sports car, and he was driving one. That wasn't fair. He didn't like to bully others. Plus, Qin Chu was right. Huamin didn't care about him at all. He already warned him that they weren't even friends, and everything was just one-sided love. So, under these circumstances, so what if he won against Qin Chu? Tomorrow. Haha. Is something going to happen? Then let's do it. If I dare to say anything cowardly, I'll write my name in two. After talking to himself, Suyu got into his sports car and left the hospital. This was his last night at Southside, because Tang Chuan would be discharged after dawn, so he had no reason to stay here any longer. He could use his injury as an excuse to recuperate, but he didn't think those excuses were meaningful. They were meaningless. If you liked someone, you had to show them your sincerity and let them see your sincerity. Instead of pestering her shamelessly, that wasn't Mr. Su's style either. After Qin Chu left Southside, he didn't go home. Without Huamin at home, the house was empty, so there was no point in him going back. Instead, he went back to GK headquarters. When Assistant Yang received the call from his boss, he almost thought it was a scammer. If he didn't open his eyes in a daze and see that it was indeed his boss, he would have cursed. So, his boss called him at 2 in the morning, asking him to go to the company. Was he crazy? After Assistant Yang arrived, he found out that he wasn't the only one at the emergency meeting. Many higher-ups were there as well. Qin Chu was wearing a dark gray shirt. He held a thick stack of documents in his hands and remained silent. None of the executives dared to make a sound because they knew their boss's weird temper too well. In the end, Lil Yang couldn't help but ask, "Boss, you called us here because you have an urgent project to finish, right?" Qin Chu slowly put down the documents in his hands, looked around, and said, "Starting tomorrow, GK will officially enter the entertainment industry." As soon as he said this, everyone was extremely shocked. Before anyone could react, Qin Chu added, "The first task is to poach all the big-name celebrities from Imperial Star Entertainment. The more the merrier. Money isn't a problem. In a week, I'll hold the launch ceremony for GK Film and Television, and I hope those celebrities can walk the red carpet. You guys aren't newbies anymore, so you should all be capable. I'll set the tasks in stone, and you guys can do it yourselves. Of course, it's going to be very difficult this time, but I'll give you a huge bonus based on your efficiency. If you get an A-list celebrity, you'll get 5 million yuan. End of meeting. Qin Chu quickly finished the meeting. After he finished talking about the main points, he turned around and left. The executives were all left dumbfounded. The boss said he was going to start a film and television company. His first task was to poach stars from Imperial Star. The time limit was 1 week. If he poached an A-list star, he would get 5 million, but he didn't want a B-list one? Crack. Is his boss really going crazy? Assistant Yang. This is too sudden. Did you know about it beforehand? The executives all knew that Assistant Yang was Qin Chu's assistant. Therefore, they wanted to ask him some questions. Assistant Yang was also confused. In the end, he only said, "Our boss has always been this capricious, haha." Assistant Yang knew a little about the entertainment company, but he didn't expect it to be implemented so soon. Although the bonus was a lot, it wasn't that easy to poach stars from Imperial Star. The next morning, Suyu was still sleeping soundly in his mansion when he received a call from Wei Liao. "What's up?" Suyu asked drowsily. "Don't sleep, did you see the news?" "No, what's wrong?" Suyu asked vaguely. GK announced their entry into the entertainment industry this morning, and they even said that they'll hold the red carpet ceremony in a week. Is Qin Chu trying to go against you? After hearing this, Suyu slowly opened his eyes, and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Chapter 565. That's a good thing. I finally have a rival. Suyu's voice contained a hint of excitement. Fuck, are you crazy? How is that a good thing? Do you know that people outside are obviously trying to steal your man and steal your woman? I heard that Qin Chu plans to hold the red carpet launch ceremony for his new company in a week. A week? They only have a week. How much are they looking down on you? Can you still stay calm? Get the fuck out of bed and go to work. I think Imperial Star is going to be in a mess. Tisk, the eunuch is more worried than the emperor. Just stop talking nonsense, haha. Fuck you, you're the eunuch. Wei Liao had a lot of anger towards Suyu over the phone early in the morning. Although Suyu was indeed very capable and had many tricks up his sleeve, Suyu was also very powerful. The Su family was very powerful, but so was GK. Okay? If their star was really taken away in a week, then what could a company that relied on entertainment rely on without their star? Would Suyu eat dirt? Would people laugh at him? The answer was of course not. Suyu got out of bed slowly and chose a very low-key, pure white jacket. Compared to Qin Chu's business attire, Suyu was more casual. Then, he drove his black Lamborghini 6th Element to Imperial Star. That morning, the radio, TV, and newspapers all reported the same thing. GK announced that it was entering the entertainment industry and was expected to become the biggest entertainment company in the country within a year. After this news was released, GK's stock market skyrocketed and rose by 7 to 8 points. Meanwhile, Imperial Star's stock market fell to its lowest point in history and didn't even break 30 yuan. It wasn't even as valuable as some tobacco and alcohol companies. Imperial Star Entertainment Headquarters. Sir, have you seen the news? Sir, how should we deal with this? Sir, are you President Qin, the man who offended GK? As soon as Suyu entered his office, a few executives surrounded him and bombarded him with questions. He waved his hand and dismissed them all. Sir, there's a morning meeting in 5 minutes, assistant reminded him. Tell them to cancel it. We won't open it. All right. After and spread the news, everyone became even more anxious. Was President Su going to give up on himself? They didn't even want to hold the morning meeting. Weren't they going to think of a way to deal with it? GK had publicly challenged them. 5 minutes later, boss, there are many media outlets and reporters at the entrance of the company. Are we going to hold a press conference? Press conference? Are you going to host it? Suyu raised his head and asked, and was at a loss for words. I haven't had breakfast yet. I'll be leaving from the back door in a while. Suyu stood up and left. Shaon had followed Suyu for many years, so he was not surprised by his boss's nonsensical way of doing things. Therefore, he silently followed behind. As soon as he stepped out of the door, Suyu saw the company's newcomer, Mian, walking over. Recently, she had taken on a few domestic drama series. It was said that her popularity had soared and she had earned a lot of money for the company. President Su, what's up? Suyu looked at Mian's silicone face and was a bit impatient. President Su, don't worry. You brought me up single-handedly. I won't be ungrateful. Even if GK offers me 10 times the price, I won't leave. I will always be on your side and support you unconditionally. Upon hearing Mian's words, Suyu chuckled. Was she here to show her loyalty? The girl was smart enough to know how to take advantage of the situation. It's okay. If GK offers you more, then you can all leave. I don't mind. Mian was instantly dumbfounded. After speaking, Suyu walked away. He swaggered towards the breakfast shop, completely ignoring the news that was all over the place. GK headquarters. What's Imperial Star's reaction? What's Suyu's reaction? Shu sat in his office and asked Yang as he read the news online. Chapter 566. Sir, there's been no news from Imperial Star. Huh, at least he can keep his cool. Shu chuckled. This was good, because it showed that Suyu was a worthy opponent, not someone who would lose his cool at the slightest provocation. Sir, what's our next step? Assistant Yang still couldn't figure out why GK suddenly wanted to enter the entertainment industry. GK had always had a lot of momentum, and if they joined the entertainment industry, they would definitely cause a storm. After all, they had a lot of money. Suyu, on the other hand, was unhurried. He wasn't worried about himself at all. He ate his breakfast and avoided the paparazzi. In a Hong Kong-style restaurant across from Imperial Star Entertainment, Suyu and his assistant quietly ate shrimp dumplings, crab roe buns, and enjoyed their morning tea. Sir, do you have any plans for GK's sudden entry into the entertainment industry? And, who is usually quiet, asked. No, Suyu answered without hesitation. And Southside Recuperation Center. Huomin got off work, and on her way home, she was overwhelmed by the overwhelming news. To be honest, she was quite surprised that GK suddenly entered the entertainment industry. After all, Shu never told her about it. Entering the entertainment industry meant that GK would have to confront Suyu head-on, which made Huomin a little worried. Suyu was sometimes very childish, and he always did things that were beyond common sense. However, Shu had always been low-key and calm, so why would he mess around with him? Did the two men talk about something that she didn't know about? On the way home, Huomin kept thinking about this question. After she got home, she ate a simple meal and went to bed to catch up on sleep. She slept all the way until noon. A call from Zhu Lingling woke her up at around 12 o'clock. Then, the two agreed to meet for lunch. They went to a Korean restaurant on Qingmeng Road. When Huomin walked in, Zhu Lingling had already ordered a table full of food. Big sister, are you crazy? You're not on a diet anymore? He remembered that on his WeChat moments, Zhu Lingling talked about losing weight every day. She even swore that she would either lose weight or die. Reality proved that she didn't lose weight and was still alive and well. So, it could be seen how unreliable she was. If I'm not full, how can I have the strength to lose weight? Zhu Lingling answered logically. Huomin was truly speechless. Let me tell you, there are two kinds of people that you can't be friends with the most. One is the person who wakes up from his bed in the early morning of winter, and the other is the person who really loses weight when he says he wants to lose weight, Zhu Lingling said slowly after taking a small bite of sushi. Warrior, why do you say that? Huomin looked at her with amusement. Because the expert said that these two kinds of people are too cruel. If they can be cruel to themselves, they might be even crueler to their friends. Ahem. So you're saying that people like you who say they want to lose weight, but can't lose weight are more suitable to be friends with because they're soft-hearted? Huomin asked. Zhu Lingling smiled slightly. That's right. Okay, since you're such a good friend, today's meal is on you. Fuck, you're a super rich woman. How can you cheat a commoner like me? Zhu Lingling yelled. The two began to eat while chatting and laughing. Time spent with Zhu Lingling was never monotonous, even though Huomin only had one friend to this day. However, she was already very satisfied. She didn't need a lot of friends, as long as they were good friends. They could be with you when you were sad, share with you when you were happy, give you positive energy and encouragement when you were lost, and give you sincere blessings when you were happy. That was enough. All right, did you see the news? Something big happened. As she spoke, Zhu Lingling mysteriously took out her phone, opened the front page of the local news, and showed it to Huomin. Chapter 567. Huomin calmly glanced at her and nodded. I know. Does your husband know that you're having an affair with Suyu? Is that why you want to teach him a lesson? Upon hearing Zhu Lingling's question, Huomin almost spat out the soup in his mouth. When did I have an affair with Suyu? Sis, if you're so good at making things up, why don't you become a paparazzi? It's such a waste to be a stewardess. What I mean is, even a blind person can tell that Suyu is interested in you. Did you piss off Mr. Chin? Hwamin nodded silently. Yes, Mr. Chin was pissed off. Otherwise, with his arrogant personality, he wouldn't enter the entertainment industry for no reason. I'm guessing it's because of the bet he made with you on the yacht. If I were your husband, I wouldn't be able to stay calm either. Suyu is like that. He's like a child most of the time. He's very direct and shows all his emotions on his face. That's why he's a bit reckless. You'll get used to it. Hey, it sounds like you know him quite well. Let me tell you, you can't fall in love with Suyu. Although the Suyu family is rich and powerful, and Suyu is very handsome, Mr. Chin has been infatuated with you for years. You can't have a change of heart. Zhu Lingling tried to persuade him. Hwamin looked at her, amused. Don't worry. Even if the world were to collapse, I wouldn't break up with Mr. Chin. Then I'm relieved. Ha. You haven't been dating a cop lately? Hwamin glanced at Zhu Lingling and asked. No, definitely not. I know you don't want to tell me. Gao Ran often eats with Mr. Chin and tells him everything. That stupid car driver. Zhu Lingling gritted her teeth and said, if you can develop it, then develop it as soon as possible. Don't let others intercept you when the time comes. No way. Who would fall in love with him? His mouth is so wicked. He doesn't give in to women at all. He often quarrels with me. At the mention of Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling said one thing, but meant another. She scolded him a lot. Hwamin smiled, but didn't say anything after dinner. The two of them left in separate cars. When Hwamin got home, he thought it was still early, so he drove straight to GK. GK headquarters, a young lady. Yang greeted her obediently. Is he inside? Yes, it's here. You could go straight in. Hwamin nodded, then walked to the CEO's office and knocked on the door. Come in. Chin Chu's deep and magnetic voice came from inside. As soon as he looked up and saw Hwamin, Chin Chu's eyes immediately softened. He stood up, walked over, and held Hwamin's hand. Why are you here? Don't you have a night shift today? Why aren't you sleeping at home? I slept in the morning and ate lunch with Lingling. I'm not sleepy anymore, so I thought I'd come to see you since there's still some time before work. Chin Chu pulled Hwamin over to sit on the leather sofa. Hwamin took out the snacks he bought on the way here and placed them on the coffee table. Honey, here's your afternoon tea. Good girl. Chin Chu patted her head, his eyes filled with uncontrollable happiness. Honey, I want to talk to you about something. Go ahead. Promise me first, then I'll tell you. Hwamin, are you copying me? Hwamin smiled as he looked at Chin Chu, thinking that he was especially cute right now. Hwamin did learn the act first and report later tactic from Hwamin, but it worked really well. If you don't agree, then I won't tell you. Okay, then don't tell me. Hwamin purposely tried to piss him off. Chin Chu immediately looked wronged. Honey, you can't bully me like this. Every time you use this tactic on me, it always works. I'm just teasing you. Just tell me. Hwamin rested his head on Chin Chu's lap and lay down on the sofa. Chapter 568. After Jishin graduates, I want to invite him to help me at GK, Chin Chu said as he gently stroked Hwamin's hair. About that, Lin Fan's eyes widened. I told him in private, but he's afraid that you won't agree, so I decided to discuss it with you first and see what you think. It's great that he can help you. GK is a big corporation with a lot of potential, and he can use his abilities. It's just that I'm worried. What are you worried about? Chin Chu asked when he saw that Hwamin was hesitant to speak. I'm worried that people will gossip about him, saying that he got to where he is through nepotism. If rumors spread, it won't be good for you or him. You don't have to worry about that. Jishin is like my little brother, and we're family. Who can say no to a family business? Jishin and I are concerned about your attitude. If you agree, I'll let him come. If you don't, I won't interfere with Jishin's future. Let's wait and see. He's still a while away from graduation, and I don't know what will happen then. Maybe GK will go bankrupt, and you'll have to rely on me to support you. Okay, then I'll wait for that day. Chin Chu smiled slightly, leaned down, and gently kissed the corner of Hwamin's lips. It was as if he wanted to pour all of his gentleness onto her after a while in the office. Huamin looked at the time and got up to leave. Honey, I'll drive you. It's okay. I'll drive myself. You go back to work. Like I said, rest well. Yes, sir. Huamin smiled as he left the office. He didn't ask about GK's entry into the entertainment industry at all. This was within Qin Chu's expectations. First of all, Huamin wasn't a gossipy person. Secondly, this was GK's business, and Huamin never interfered with GK's business. The two of them supported each other's careers, but gave each other absolute freedom. This was the highest realm of loving someone deeply. Loving you, but not interfering with you too much. Mutual respect, mutual understanding. When Huamin arrived at Southside, he was called to Director Li's office. Huamin, how's that thing going? The plan is almost complete. Please take a look. Huamin handed over a thick folder of documents. Director Li took it and flipped through it for a while. Finally, he nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, as expected of someone I value. His ideas are bold and innovative enough to break the traditional treatment plan. It's worth looking forward to. Director, there's a drawback to this. No one has used it before, so I'm worried that he won't be able to take it. If the treatment fails and he collapses, his condition will worsen. At this point, Huamin didn't continue. However, what she wanted to say was obvious. Don't worry, I've already considered all these risks. If we don't have a reasonable treatment plan, his condition will still worsen. If we stick our neck out, we'll still be stabbed. If we stick our neck out, we'll still be stabbed. If we stick our neck out like this, we won't be able to solve the problem. I support your innovation, so just do it. Thank you, Director Li. I'll do my best. When Huamin left the office, he picked up his phone and called Gao Ran. Is she here yet? Yes, I called her. She'll be here soon, Gao Ran replied. Thank you. You've helped me a lot this time. If you want to thank me, then ask your Mr. Qin to treat me to a luxurious meal, Gao Ran laughed. No problem. We'll meet another day. Huamin hung up the phone with a smile. She wasn't confident about Ni Yang's treatment. After all, depression was a terrifying disease. If it was cured, then everyone would be happy. If it wasn't cured, then it was a matter of life and death. Head nurse, she's here. Huamin was just about to go downstairs when a nurse from a neurology department ran over to Huamin. Okay, I'll be right there. The person Gao Ran found for her this time had a powerful background. She didn't want to disappoint her. Chapter 569. Then, Huamin headed towards a VIP lounge on the top floor. This was a new lounge at Southside, and it wasn't officially opened yet. Huamin temporarily converted this place into a hypnosis room. And this time, the person he made an appointment with was a famous psychologist in the city, Jiang Xiaowei. Apparently, she had a PhD from overseas and didn't open her own studio after she returned to China. Instead, she was specially hired by the Ministry of Public Security to perform hypnosis on specific suspects and witnesses. Not long ago, she published an academic paper that won the approval of top experts in the country. Jiang Xiaowei was also an extraordinary person. She was born into a scholarly family, and her parents were both university professors. She was extremely talented. Apparently, her parents wanted her to take finance as an elective because she was especially sensitive to numbers. However, at a critical moment, she ignored everyone's objections and changed her major to psychology. Needless to say, she was extremely brave. Jiang Xiaowei wasn't an easy person to invite, and she rarely interacted with others. The only reason they were able to invite her this time was because of Gao Ran, the captain of the criminal police force. At 7:30 p.m. sharp, Jiang Xiaowei appeared in the hypnosis room on the top floor. Just as Huamin expected, she was petite and dainty, with two small canine teeth. She loved to smile, had long, slightly curly hair, and wore a dark blue dress. She was very intellectual and elegant. Huamin, hello, I'm Jiang Xiaowei. She elegantly introduced herself. Thank you for coming. Huamin shook her hand. This is the patient's information. Please keep it confidential after you read it. Huamin handed over Ni Yang's medical record. Jiang Xiaowei was very calm after reading it. Okay, I can give a try first. When will he arrive? Jiang Xiaowei had just finished asking this question. The door to the hypnosis room was pushed open. This time, Yang was alone without his agent. I'm not late. Can we start now? Yang asked faintly. Jiang Xiaowei nodded at Huamin. Then, Yang sat on the hypnosis chair, while Huamin adjusted the lights and music for Jiang Xiaowei. She then took out an ancient pocket watch and dangled it in front of Yang's eyes. The pocket watch ticked, and Yang's eyes began to glaze over. Very good. Look at it and listen to its voice. Jiang Xiaowei's voice was filled with a magical power that had never been there before. What did you see? Flowers, lots of flowers, pink flowers. What flower is that? Peach blossom or cherry blossom? Cherry blossoms, a lot of cherry blossoms. Yang replied calmly. There's someone standing at the end of the cherry blossoms. Take a look. Who is she? I can't see clearly. Don't be anxious. Walk over slowly. She's standing right there. You'll be able to see her once you pass through the cherry blossom rain. She's... Yang was about to say who the person was. Suddenly, Yang became agitated. Go away. I never want to see you again. Why did you choose him? Why not me? Why not me? As he spoke, Yang held his head in pain, as if he was extremely nervous. Huamin also became nervous. She slowly walked over and asked in a low voice, Dr. Jiang, what happened? He failed. There's a hidden pain in his heart that no one knows about. This pain is related to the person in the depths of his memory. It seems like it's been a long time and can't be solved immediately. Let him go back and rest. We'll talk about it next time. After speaking, Jiang Xiaowei stood up, picked up her bag, and turned to leave. It was hard to imagine that Jiang Xiaowei, who was such an amiable and approachable woman, could be so heartless at work. After Jiang Xiaowei left, Yang woke up from the hypnosis. His face was pale, as if what he just experienced was a nightmare. Did you fail? Yang asked in a hoarse voice. It's okay, we can try again next time. Don't worry. Yang bit his lip and didn't say anything. Have you been under a lot of pressure lately? Yeah, there's a lot to deal with when signing with a new company. The contract isn't ready yet, and we're still negotiating the terms. A lot of people are envious of how glamorous we are, but we're the ones who are the most miserable. We have to work like machines every day and lose the joy of being human. If you were given another chance, would you still choose this path? Huamin slowly asked. Yang was a little surprised. He raised his head and looked into Huamin's clear eyes, a little confused and a little touched. Chapter 570. I guess so. Sometimes you can't just walk the path you want. God won't be so kind as to give you the chance to choose. Sometimes you have no other choice but to work hard. Yang said dispiritedly. Actually, you don't have to live such a tiring life. There's a Buddhist saying that goes, with a thought of peace, lotus flowers bloom everywhere. As long as your mind is peaceful, lotus flowers will bloom everywhere. Yang repeated this sentence. MHM, you can think about it when you have time. Some things shouldn't be thought too deeply, or else you'll be tired. I think the rules of life should be simple and straightforward. For example, if you're tired, sleep. If you're hungry, eat. If you like something, then love. That way, you'll feel better. Yang seemed to be touched by what he heard, and his long eyelashes fluttered under the light of the hypnosis lamp. Huamin suddenly felt that this was a quiet and beautiful young man. Young, beautiful, and had all the things that the world envied, but he was living such an unhappy life. It made one's heart ache. You like to play online games, right? How did you know? Yang raised his head and looked at Huamin cautiously. I saw it on YouTube. They said that you like to play an online game called Xanadu. This game isn't like normal online games where there's fighting and killing. This game doesn't allow killing. It's like the world is peaceful and everyone is living a happy life. Yeah, this kind of thinking can only be realized in the game. Yang smiled bitterly. Here, Huamin handed over something, but because it was held in his fist, it was hard to tell what it was. What is it? Yang asked curiously. Huamin slowly opened his palm, and there was a candy lying in it. It was a white rabbit creamy candy. Candy? And Yang frowned, as if he didn't understand Hua Min's intention. If you feel that life is tough, eat one. It's very useful. I'm not a child. Why are you giving me candy? And Yang looked at Hua Min with amusement and did not reach out to take it. Who said that only children need to eat candy? Sometimes adults need it more because adults often feel more bitter. Children don't have so many complicated thoughts. Their world is very naive. You're right. And Yang suddenly felt that Hua Min's words made sense. He slowly took the candy from Hua Min's palm and popped it into his mouth. Is it still bitter? Hua Min asked softly, and Yang shook his head. Go back and have a good sleep. Don't think about anything. Let's meet again in a few days when you're free. All right. By the time she was done with Yang, it was already 10 p.m. When he returned to the orthopedics department, he found that there was a pile of documents waiting for him in the office. Hua Min, the Virgo workaholic, once again sat at his desk and got busy. Before he knew it, another hour had passed. Suddenly, his stomach began to cramp. Perhaps it was because he hadn't eaten for a long time, and he drank a lot of coffee on an empty stomach, so his stomach was acting up again. Gastritis was a chronic illness that she had when she was very young. It wasn't a serious illness, but it was very torturous. When the pain came, it was heartbreaking. Hua Min held onto her stomach and leaned against the desk. She endured the pain and picked up her bag to look for the stomach medicine that she usually prepared. However, because she changed her bag, she didn't bring it. She forced herself to stand up and walk out, intending to get some from the pharmacy. However, she was surprised to see Hua Xiqian at the door. What's wrong? He didn't tease Hua Min like he always did. Instead, he saw that something was wrong with Hua Min's expression and immediately walked over to her. I'm fine. Hua Min coldly refused his approach. You don't look fine. Go away. It's none of your business. Hua Min tried to push him away. However, Hua Xiqian grabbed her wrist tightly. Hua Xiqian let go. Hua Min was furious. Chapter 571. If you don't tell me what's wrong, I won't let you go. Hua Xiqian was more serious than ever. My stomach is acting up. In the end, Hua Xiqian couldn't argue with him, so Hua Min had no choice but to surrender. He lowered his head and said, Your stomach is acting up? Hua Xiqian frowned slightly. Before Hua Min could say anything, he dragged Hua Min all the way to the pharmacy. He was even more familiar with the way there than Hua Min. A bottle of omeprazole and Tarot capsules, Hua Xiqian said anxiously as they stood by the pharmacy window. The nurse in charge of getting the medicine had just taken a nap, so her movements were slow. She got up in a daze. Hurry up! Hua Xiqian suddenly raised his voice, scaring the nurse who was fetching the medicine. She didn't dare to delay, so she immediately handed the medicine to Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian took out a $100 bill and threw it at the window. Then, he dragged Hua Min away. In the lounge area on the second floor, Hua Xiqian poured a cup of warm water and handed it to Hua Min. Hurry up and take your medicine. Hua Min didn't say anything. He took the water, took out 2 stomach pills, and swallowed them. How did you know I took these pills? Hua Min was confused. Why did Hua Xiqian seem to know her so well? The two of them hadn't interacted much in the past few years. Don't talk nonsense. You were perfectly fine, so why did your stomach suddenly act up? Hua Xiqian asked coldly. He was different from his usual jovial self. I was too busy and forgot to eat. Too busy? Is everyone else at Southside dead? You're the only one who's busy? Where are the others? Hua Xiqian was annoyed. Everyone else has their own jobs. I think I should withdraw my investment and open my own hospital. Otherwise, you will suffer from gastroperforation if you keep being ordered around like this, Hua Xiqian said fiercely. Even if you open a hospital, I won't go. Hua Min went against him, just like a child who was angry. Looking at Hua Min's stubbornness, Hua Xiqian was both angry and amused. Qin Shu is so rich, but he can't afford to raise you? Why are you still at work? What does this have to do with money? I want to maintain my independent working ability and personality. I don't want to be a dependent. You always have your reasons, twisting words, and forcing logic. How can there be a woman like you in this world? You're so weird that it's scary. Your temper is like a cow's, disobedient and stubborn. After saying that, Huasiqian turned around and left after scolding him. Huamin pursed his lips, got up, and returned to his office to continue working. 20 minutes later, Huasiqian pushed open the door to Huamin's office and placed something on Huamin's desk. Hurry up and eat. Huamin looked at it and saw that it was vegetable porridge and cornbread, which was good for the stomach. You didn't put poison in here, did you? Huamin thought that it was a little strange that Huasiqian was being so nice to her. I put arsenic in here. Why? Do you dare to eat? Huasiqian said as he opened the box of vegetable porridge with a smile. He handed it to Huamin. If you have a weak stomach, you should be more careful. How could you forget to eat? Are you an idiot? You're the idiot? Huamin retorted. Yes, I'm an idiot. Hurry up and eat. Stop talking nonsense. After saying that, he snatched some of the documents from Huamin's hands and threw them to the side. Then Huasiqian sat across from Huamin and watched her eat. Under Huasiqian's watchful eyes, Huamin ate the porridge and cornbread in small bites. As expected, her stomach felt a lot warmer, and she didn't protest anymore. Huasiqian. What? Why are you so nice to me? Huamin asked word by word. Chapter 572. Do I need a reason to be nice to you? Huasiqian looked at Huamin, amused. Of course, no one would be nice to someone for no reason. There must be a reason or a purpose. Purpose? Haha. Then just think of it as me trying to get you on my side to deal with the old man with me. That's why I'm being nice to you. Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Huamin remained silent. After a while, she said, I will deal with Hu Zhenghai. When he shamelessly attacked my mom in our old house, I decided to take revenge on him and his self-righteous mistress. Isn't that great? We're finally on the same side. I don't want to work with you. I have ways to deal with them myself. Huamin said proudly. Okay, you're good. Just then, Huasiqian received a phone call and stood up. I'm going to go now. Take care of yourself. Don't think that you're made of iron. The next time I see you having gastro problems, I'll whip you first. Huamin was speechless. What kind of logic was that? Why did he have to be whipped when he was sick? Therefore, Huasiqian was definitely a psychopath. At the seductive Fox nightclub, so you ignored the news and continued to eat, drink, and have fun with a group of rich heirs. What's going on with you? Tang Chuan came over and sat down beside him. There's nothing going on. Wasn't it just a provocation? I heard that GK said that they'll get you in a week. Apparently, they've already contacted the celebrities under your company and offered you 3 times the price. People are all snobs. They'll betray you for sure if they get the money. Then let them go. They're just celebrities. I'm making new ones. So you took a sip of red wine and smiled. How can you still smile at a time like this? Oh my God, you have such a big heart, Tang Chuan exclaimed. If I don't laugh, how can I cry? Besides, it's just a small matter. Is there a need to cry? It's not like so you haven't never seen the wind and the waves, so don't worry about me. Yes. We won't worry for nothing. When Qin Shu destroys your nest, don't complain to us, Tang Chuan said sarcastically. Don't worry, as long as you're still alive, you'll never see the classic scene of my home being raided. Su Yu's insolence was known to the world. I have the looks, I have the money, I am invincible, I can get whatever I want. There are only things I don't want, and nothing I can't get. This was the state of Lord Su's life for the first 20 years or so. However, his entire life was turned upside down when his nemesis, Huamian, appeared. Su Yu liked to wear bright colors, different from Qin Shu's black and gray colors. Tonight, he wore an orange shirt and a limited edition Cartier bracelet on his wrist. It was fashionable yet elegant. Jian Tong played with the others in the private room for a while and sang for a while. Then, she sat down beside Su Yu. She was promoted after Zhao Qingya went missing. Rumors said that she was Su Yu's new lover. Because she was the female lead of several movies, she was often the one standing next to Su Yu at press conferences for new movies. However, only she knew the truth. She had been by Su Yu's side for a while now, but Su Yu never even touched her hand. Not to mention sleeping with her. Women were like this. If they liked a man, they would feel uneasy if they didn't sleep with him. It was as if they didn't belong to each other. President Sue, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for taking care of me all this time. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a name for myself. Jiantong poured herself a glass of red wine and raised her glass to Su Yu with a slightly smile. Chapter 573. So you didn't say anything. Instead, he raised his glass and took a sip. President Sue, I know you didn't react to the confrontation with GK on the surface, but I'm sure you already have a plan. You're smart. So you glanced at Jiantong and said, if you need me for anything, just let me know. I, Jiantong, will do anything for you and Imperial Star. Jiantong wasn't a flowery actress. She was a woman of few words and knew her place, which was why Su Yu tried so hard to promote her. She wasn't like Mion Mion. Mion Mion didn't become arrogant after a bit of fame. It's fine, just do your job normally. If they come to hire you, just raise the price. It's best if it's 10 times higher. And then, Jiantong asked softly, then you can sign with them and go straight to them. President Sue, I won't leave Imperial Star, no matter how much money they give me. I'll only follow you, Jiantong explained anxiously. Don't worry, this is only part of my plan. Don't worry about it. It's a part of the plan. Jiantong seemed to have vaguely understood something. Su Yu smiled and didn't say anything else. When the party ended, Jiantong was escorted home by bodyguards. Su Yu got into his black Lamborghini. I say, are you really going to be a monk? Jiantong is such a great girl. Didn't you bring her home to sleep with? It's good to release some heat. Men will become impotent if they don't have sex for a long time. Wei Liao laughed. Even if I don't have sex for a year, I'm still invincible. Don't compare me, a god, to mortals like you, okay? After speaking, Su Yu stepped on the gas and the Lamborghini sped away. Damn, he's so pretentious. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were speechless at Su Yu's recent behavior. Was it really fun to sleep alone in such a big villa? Su Yu's life had been very fulfilling recently. He wouldn't stay up all night to play. Other than going to work, she went home on time. Occasionally, she would cook for herself. Beside Su Yu's bed, there were 3 photo frames of the same woman. The first photo was taken secretly by Su Yu in the hospital with Huamin wearing glasses. The second photo was of a charity auction. Huamin was wearing an evening gown and standing on the stage. The third picture was a picture of her falling asleep a few days ago. Her face was smudged by her own drawing. She looked so adorable. So you felt like he was possessed, but I have to look at these photos every night before I go to bed. He even thought that sooner or later, Huamin would be sleeping in his bed. There's a saying that's right. A person must have a goal in life. Huamin was married, yes, and his behavior was immoral. However, he wasn't a third party because the title of third party and mistress was based on the premise that Huamin cheated on him. Huamian had to accept him and maintain some kind of relationship with him before she could call him a homewrecker or a third party. The current situation was that Huamin and Qin Shu were very close, but Huamin kept him at arm's length. He was tortured by Huamin time and time again, and turned around in loneliness time and time again. Therefore, at most, he was a single dog that was in love with Huamin. Just then, he received a text message. It was from his assistant, and boss, 5 artists from our company have signed contracts and are ready to jump ship to GK. Got it. After replying to Anne's text, Su Yu smiled and muttered to himself. Qin Shu, you want to keep playing? Fine, I'll play with you. Chapter 574. GK Headquarters Sir, our new company is progressing well. In such a short time, 5 superstars from Imperial Star have already signed agreements of intent with us. Assistant Yang was in a good mood. He brought a cup of coffee to Qin Chu's desk and carefully flattered him. Too slow, Qin Chu said faintly. 5 superstars really weren't Qin Chu's ultimate goal. His goal was to get all of Imperial Star's artists to come out on the red carpet. In other words, he wanted to poach all of Imperial Star's pillars. Puffed. Sir, Imperial Star has been around for so many years. They have the support of financial groups and the Su family's connections. They're not like those small companies that we can easily destroy. Sir, please calm down. Assistant Yang thought that for a big company like Imperial Star Entertainment, it was already good enough that they were able to poach 5 superstars in such a short time. It would be embarrassing if they couldn't even poach one. After all, GK Film and Television's opening ceremony was in a few days, and they would walk the red carpet. Tell them to get it done quickly. Also, the agreement of intent isn't safe. Tell them to get the real contract as soon as possible. Yes, sir. At first, everyone thought that Qin Chu's orders were impossible. Later, they realized that money made the world go round. However, the agreement of intent was only a preliminary agreement and couldn't be considered the final contract. Qin Chu was very careful and didn't celebrate too early. After all, he didn't think that Su Yu was an idiot and would be defeated so easily. Plus, after such a big commotion, not only did Su Yu not react, he even avoided the media every day and had the time to eat breakfast. Therefore, Qin Chu thought that he had a plan and had to be careful. Inside the luncheon group cafeteria, Qin Chu rarely ate in the cafeteria because he always liked peace and quiet. The few times he did, it was because he brought clients to visit the cafeteria and observe the company. Today, Qin Chu made a rare appearance in the cafeteria. As soon as he walked in, hundreds of employees all stood up. President Qin. Their neat appearance was comparable to a military parade. It was obvious that the employees were of high quality. Little Yang followed behind Qin Chu. He had never felt so superior before. It turned out that by standing beside Chairman Qin, she could borrow his powerful aura to make herself dazzling. At this moment, he suddenly thought of his boss's woman. That woman had an extraordinary temperament. She wasn't devastatingly beautiful, but the moment his boss saw her, his eyes became gentle. She must feel very happy standing next to the boss. Qin Chu found a seat and sat down. Little Yang immediately went to get some food, and the boss appeared in the staff cafeteria. Everyone in the kitchen was flattered. The quick-witted chef specially added 2 stir-fried dishes for the boss. Qin Chu and Little Yang sat facing each other. Little Yang ate silently. At this moment, the sound of high heels approached. Assistant Yang looked up and saw Jiang Linyue's delicate face. Jiang Linyue always wore branded clothes and had a strong presence. She drove an expensive car and was young, so she could be considered a kind person in GK. President Qin, she said coquettishly. What is it? Qin Chu elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. He looked up and glanced at her face. President Qin, I want to talk to you about our new film and television company. Work matters can be discussed in the conference room. Qin Chu coldly refused. But this is a private matter, Jiang Linyue said, unwilling to give up. Private matter? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows slightly and looked up at her again. Sir, should I leave for a moment? Upon hearing that Director Jiang said it was a private matter, Liu Yang felt like he was unnecessary. He quietly asked Qin Chu. Chapter 575. Qin Chu ignored Assistant Yang, meaning that he wasn't going to let him go, speak. In the end, Qin Chu gave Jiang Linyue a chance to talk about the new company. Jiang Linyue was immediately overjoyed. She sat down next to Assistant Yang, directly across from Qin Chu. President Qin, although I work in the design department, I've been paying close attention to the opening of our film and television company. I also know that you've been trying to rope in a lot of famous movie stars. There's an A-list actress at Imperial Star, Annie Leong, and she's the cousin of one of my best friends. With this relationship, I'm sure it won't be a dream to convince her to come over. Of course, I'll have to use my personal connections. That won't be necessary. Director Jiang, since you work in the design department, you should do your job well. Qin Chu's voice was calm, and his intentions were clear. He wasn't happy about Jiang Linyue's words at all. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Jiang Linyue's expression changed slightly. Sir, I just want to do more for the company. I've been at GK for a long time, and I'm considered an old employee. I know what I'm doing. I'm not here to ask for credit. I just want to express my determination. I hope you can give me this opportunity. If you can convince Annie Leong, Then that's great. Our company can also offer you 3 times the price of Imperial Star. You can talk to her. Thank you for your trust, President Qin. But Qin Chu wanted to say something, but he stopped. Jiang Linyue immediately looked at Qin Chu nervously when she heard that he had something else to say. But if you don't succeed this time, then don't ever think about getting involved in film and television again. You should know that I don't like it when employees overstep their authority. Since you work in the design department, then you should put your efforts into the design department and produce more works. I understand. Jiang Linyue nodded. However, she didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. Instead, she stared at Qin Chu's chef's masterpiece. This looks so delicious. Is it broccoli? Jiang Linyue immediately pretended to be naive. She wanted to use her naive expression to get Qin Chu's attention. However, reality was always cruel. Qin Chu just said faintly, "Then I'll give it to you." Jiang Linyue was just about to rejoice when she saw Qin Chu elegantly stand up and straighten the slightly wrinkled sleeves of his suit. Then, he left. Little Yang hadn't eaten yet. When he saw the boss leave, he also got up and left. Jiang Linyue didn't even get the chance to thank the boss before she... Everyone looked at him strangely. "What are you looking at?" "Eat your food," Jiang Linyue said fiercely with a cold expression. In front of Qin Chu and in front of her subordinates, she was always different. This was something that was very admirable. On the other side, at the Southside Sanatorium, it was rare for Huamin to get off work early and not have to work the night shift. She was so happy that she stopped at the supermarket on her way home. "Mr. Qin, I'm at the supermarket. What do you want to eat tonight?" Huamin sweetly picked up the phone. "Eat you? Can we have fun? Can you be serious?" Huamin chuckled. "I'm serious. I really want to eat you." Qin Chu's voice had a unique charm to it. If he said this to Huamin, she would definitely blush. Luckily, he was on the phone. "Hey, let's stop joking. Hurry up and tell me what you want to eat. I rarely get off work early, so I'll make it for you." "Mian, let's go back to the old mansion, okay? I want to see my dad." Qin Chu's voice was very soft. He seemed to be carefully asking for Hua Min's opinion. He occasionally called back and heard that his father's old illness had relapsed since autumn, and he seemed to be in poor health. No matter how much they treated Hua Min, they were still his biological parents, so Qin Chu's heart still softened. Hearing that Hua Min didn't reply, Qin Chu thought she was angry. "Mian, are you angry?" he asked tentatively. Chapter 576. "No, I was just thinking about what kind of cigarettes your dad likes to smoke. The last time I went there, I only remember that it was a blue pack of cigarettes, but I don't remember the name. Do you know what it is?" "I'll buy a few," Hua Min said casually. Hua Min's words warmed Qin Chu's heart. He thought that she was angry, but she was already silently choosing cigarettes for his father. How could he not love a woman like her? In the end, Hua Min bought a few Nanjing cigarettes that cost 580 yuan each. Apparently, that cigarette was Qin Chu's father's favorite. Then, she bought some fresh fruits, and Hua Min drove straight home. When she parked her car at Imperial Park, Qin Chu's car arrived as well. Qin Chu got out of the car and moved everything into the Maybach. Then, Hua Min changed into a simple pair of jeans, a white spaghetti strap, and a black sweater. She took her bag and sat in the passenger seat. "Honey, are you hungry?" On the way, Qin Chu raised his right hand and placed it on Hua Min's small hand, asking gently, "I'm a little hungry." Hua Min rubbed her stomach. Today, the cafeteria at Southside had reached an all-time high. The pickled cabbage stewed pork ribs tasted terrible. Hua Min really wanted to ask that chef, "What on earth did you do to make such delicious ingredients taste so bad?" Then, she thought about it and decided to forget it. There were hundreds of people at Southside eating here. So, in the end, Hua Min only ate a few mouthfuls. She had been busy since noon, so when Qin Chu asked her, she was indeed a little hungry. "How about it? I'll give it to you right now." Qin Chu slid his big hand down her thigh. Only then did Hua Min realize what he meant when he said he was hungry. She immediately raised her hand and slapped Qin Chu's shoulder. She laughed and scolded, "You pervert." Qin Chu looked at her innocently and asked, "Honey, I just wanted to say, do you want me to get you some fruit from the trunk?" How is that perverted? Are you thinking too much again? Huamin, after being played by Mr. Qin again, Huamin felt like she was going to bury her face in the ground. The two chatted and laughed along the way, and finally arrived at the Qin manor. Ever since their last talk, Qin Shu's father had a compromise. He rarely went to the company, and he didn't care about projects that cost more than 100 million yuan. He gave all the power to his son. After all, he only had one son. Plus, the major shareholders on the board of directors all recognized Qin Shu's abilities, so Qin Yuman didn't interfere. Recently, his health had not been very good, so he could recuperate at home. Occasionally, he would go abroad. It could be said that his life was fulfilling. At the entrance of the manor, Qin Shu drove the Maybach into the driveway and parked it in front of the gate. Then, the two of them got out of the car and walked in. Young master, young madam. The maid was more sensible. When she saw Qin Shu and his wife, she immediately greeted them. Where's my dad? Master is upstairs. I'll go get him. Okay. Qin Shu asked his father directly. He didn't ask his mother because he had always been careful. When he saw that his mother's car wasn't there, he guessed that she had gone out. When Qin Yuman came down and saw the two of them, he didn't show much on his face. He only asked, "You're back?" Huamin didn't say anything. He quietly took the fruit to the side, washed it, and put it on a plate. Then he brought it over. Qin Shu and his father sat on the sofa and talked for a while. The maid said, master, a young lady, it's time to eat." Okay. Qin Shu and his father stood up. My mom went out? She's not coming back for dinner? Qin Shu asked. Yeah, she's been addicted to playing cards lately. She often plays until late at night. Qin Yuman sounded like he was complaining. If she likes it, just let her play. As long as she's not addicted to it, it's fine. Qin Shu advised his father. Qin Yuman nodded. The three of them sat at the dinner table. Huamin didn't talk much because she didn't know what to say. After all, she wasn't liked in this family. So, she just ate in silence. Any news from your stomach? Suddenly, Qin Yuman's words broke the silence. Qin Shu and Huamin were surprised when they heard what he said. Huamin even wondered if he was talking to her. Chapter 577. Mian, Dad's asking you a question. Qin Shu looked at Huamin with a slight smile. Ahem, not yet. Huamin lowered her head. She was embarrassed to talk about this in front of the elders. Just then, Qin Yuman nodded and said, You guys aren't young anymore. Don't just focus on your career. Hurry up and have a child. My health is deteriorating day by day. Maybe I won't have the chance to see a grandchild by the time I leave. That would be a shame. Dad, you're fine. Don't think too much about it. Qin Shu comforted. Yeah, you'll be fine. No matter how estranged Huamin was with them, she was still a soft-hearted woman. Hearing Qin Shu's father say this made her feel bad. We're old. The world belongs to you young people. Although, Huamin isn't the ideal daughter-in-law in your mother's eyes. Fate is sometimes a magical thing. Not everything will go according to one's wishes. I haven't been feeling well lately, so I've been reading and thinking about a lot of things. Since you guys are husband and wife, you should treat each other well. It's a blessing that the two of you can live together. Cherish it. I will, Dad. Qin Shu nodded, as if he was making a promise to his father. Qin Yuman looked at Huamin again and said, No matter how unpleasant things were in the past, it's all in the past. Since you guys are family now, I hope you guys can live happily ever after. I know it's useless to apologize for what happened. After all, she's gone. However, I still want to apologize to you. If I have the chance, I want to apologize to your mother as well. It's our fault for being so ridiculous and causing such a tragedy for your family. Qin Yuman's eyes were glistening with tears as he said this. The truth was, he didn't know about what happened until later. Before that, the driver who caused the accident had been in contact with Lady Qin. However, Qin Yuman couldn't ignore the accident. He had to protect his wife first. Therefore, he had been feeling guilty all these years. Even though he wasn't the murderer, he was an accomplice. Huamin was quite surprised that an old man of such status would suddenly apologize and repent to him. He wasn't mentally prepared at all. If it wasn't for Qin Shu gently touching her arm, she probably wouldn't have recovered. My mother has already forgiven Qin Shu. However, it seems that it will take some time for her to forgive you. Huamin said slowly. We won't ask for her forgiveness. People have to pay the price for their mistakes. I think my illness is retribution. Huamin listened quietly. In comparison, Qin Shu's father was indeed much better than his mother. Although his father was old-fashioned and strict, at least he was reasonable and could distinguish right from wrong. However, Qin Shu's mother was quite scary. She was very controlling. Not only would she control her husband for the rest of his life, but she would also control her son. As long as she didn't get what she wanted, she would flip out and become violent. After Qin Yuman said this, he picked up a small wine glass and took a sip of white wine. He seemed to be in a heavy mood. Dad, don't drink too much. The doctor said it's bad for your head. Qin Shu was a little worried. It's fine. If the king of hell wants me to die at midnight, then I won't live to see dawn. Life and death are predestined. How could a glass of wine have anything to do with it? Don't make a fuss over nothing. After that, Qin Yuman looked at his son and asked, I heard that you're going to invest in film and television. Yes. Qin Shu nodded. Why? Qin Yuman continued to ask as he looked at his son. After Qin Shu heard this, he first turned to look at Huamin, as if he was hesitating on how to answer his father's question. Chapter 578. I don't like Suyu. Qin Shu replied, word for word. PFFF. Huamin almost spat out the soup in his mouth when he heard this answer. She thought that Qin Shu would definitely tell his father that the film and television company was profitable and had a bright future or something. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to be so willful. He didn't like Suyu? Was that really a reason? If Qin Shu's father wasn't here, Huamin would have burst out laughing. His Mr. Qin was a comedian, okay? What would Suyu think if he heard this? Huamin tried hard not to laugh. He lowered his head and pretended to eat. Qin Yuman froze for a second when he heard this. Then he smiled and said, I didn't know my son could be so willful. Your son is immortal too. He needs to eat and sleep. Don't treat him like a god. Qin Shu said in all seriousness. You're right, but it's always good for young people like you to spar and learn from each other. Making money in the film and television industry is one thing, but not letting Imperial Star dominate the industry is also a contribution to the industry. After all, if one company monopolizes the film and television industry, actors and actresses have no choice. What you're doing is giving young people who want to become famous a lot of opportunities. Dad, you're thinking too much. Qin Shu didn't think that he would think of so many reasons to invest in the film and television industry. Giving opportunities to young people? He wasn't Lei Feng. Why would he help others? He just didn't like Suyu because he was too free. He was so free that he went to Southside and flirted with his wife. Qin Shu couldn't tolerate this. To Qin Shu, Huamin was his only and final bottom line. Anyone who dared to touch Huamin would die. Simple and violent. This was the arrogant Mr. Qin style. After dinner, Qin Shu drank some tea with his father in the living room and talked about the company's current situation. Huamin sat on the side with his phone in his hand, chatting with Ji Xin and Lingling. Even after they left, they still didn't see Lady Qin. Huamin felt that this was the best way to avoid any unpleasantness. On the way back, Qin Shu held Huamin's hand and refused to let go. Why are you holding on to me so tightly? Are you afraid that I'll run away? No matter where you go, you'll always be my wife. Qin raised her hand and kissed it. Thank you for buying cigarettes for my father. My father seems to have accepted you and is even apologizing for the past. This makes me very happy. Actually, let me say something. Don't be angry, haha. Huamin laughed. Go ahead. Your dad is much better than your mom, Huamin said honestly. Qin Shu immediately laughed out loud. Why are you laughing? I'm laughing because you said what my dad and I think. Not only you, but everyone who interacts with them also thinks the same. My dad is more than 10 times better than my mom. One is an ambitious and far-sighted entrepreneur, while the other is a controlling housewife with no foresight. Do you think it's possible? I really don't understand why your dad married your mom in the first place. People say that if your dad marries the wrong person, your childhood will be filled with pain. If you marry the wrong woman, your middle age will be filled with pain. If your son marries the wrong woman, your old age will be filled with pain, Huamin said enthusiastically. Qin Chu smiled. Luckily, it's only pain in my childhood. I'll definitely be happy in my middle age. In the future, I want my son to marry a good wife like you. Then, we'll be happy in our old age. It's never too late to make up for it. You're shameless. Who wants to give birth to your son? Huamin teased with a smile. A daughter is fine too. I like both. The two made out all the way. When they were almost home, Qin Chu suddenly asked, Honey, are you sleepy? I'm not sleepy. Then how about I take you somewhere? Qin Chu smiled mysteriously. Then, he made an emergency U-turn and changed the direction of the car. Huamin had a feeling that tonight was going to be very interesting. Chapter 579. Huamin didn't ask where Qin Chu wanted to take her, because it was pointless. Based on her past experience, if she asked, Mr. Qin would at most reply with 2 words, take a guess. Guessing back and forth was a waste of brain cells, and Huamin didn't want to do it. After all, she was so tired at Southside that she didn't want to use her brain when she got home. Therefore, she quietly waited for Mr. Qin to arrange everything for her. Anyways, as long as she was with Qin Chu, she didn't care where they went. It didn't matter if it was eating at a food stall, admiring the night view by the beach, watching a movie downtown, or going to the night market in the suburbs. Even if it was just the two of them strolling on the road, it was fine. 20 minutes later, Qin Chu parked his flashy Maybach at the entrance of a 7-story nightless city center. Huamin got out of the car and looked up. She knew this place. It was the largest arcade in the city. No matter the season, it was always full. Apparently, it made a lot of money every day. It wasn't just kids who played video games these days. Many adults were addicted to it as well. There were all kinds of games from the 1st floor to the 7th floor. It was a big deal. Want to play video games? Qin Chu tilted his head and asked Huamin. Since we're already here, let's play. We can't sleep anyway, Huamin said with a smile. Qin Chu held her hand, and the two of them walked in. They took the elevator to the 7th floor. There weren't many people on the 7th floor because the equipment was very high-end. Even the game coins were several times more expensive than the other floors. This was the so-called VIP, right? Rich people could enjoy the best service wherever they went. As soon as they walked in, Qin Chu exchanged 3,000 yuan worth of game coins at the counter. Then, he carried a small basket in one hand and held Huamin's hand with the other. They walked through the arcade. Huamin almost fainted at this warm and loving scene. Fortunately, Qin Chu's exposure rate was very low, and not many people knew him. Otherwise, the sky would be turned upside down. Qin Chu and Huamin played around with the plushies for a while. Huamin tried a few times, but he still couldn't find the black charcoal plushie that he wanted. After catching a few rabbits, he gave up and went to the fishing machine with Qin Chu. There were only 2 positions for the fishing machine. The opposite side was already occupied by a girl, and there was a man standing behind her. He should be her boyfriend. Huamin sat opposite her. Qin Chu sat beside Huamin and considerately put in the coins for her. On the other hand, Huamin was very accurate and scored very quickly. Holy shit, he's so good. He's an expert. The young girl with heavy makeup said in admiration as she watched Huamin play the game. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. He continued to play. Honey, the jellyfish is out. Kill it. Qin Chu hugged Huamin's waist with one hand and pointed at the center of the machine with the other. The jellyfish was the ultimate boss. It was very small, and every time it appeared, there would be a group of big and small fish swimming around it. It was very difficult to hit, and the angle was very difficult to find. The girl on the other side wasted a lot of time, but still couldn't hit the jellyfish. The jellyfish had a limited time, and there was a countdown from the moment it appeared. It was less than a minute. Huamin wasn't in a hurry. He quietly observed the frequency of the fish swimming and the angle at which he was fishing. Finally, when there were only 10 seconds left, the girl's boyfriend was anxious. He kept saying, "Hurry up, it's going to be over in 10 seconds. Hurry up. Don't rush me, I'm anxious too." The girl kept shooting the harpoon, but she still couldn't hit it. Huamin didn't make a move, But at the last moment, he pressed the button, and the harpoon was firmly inserted into the jellyfish's body. In the middle of the machine, a lot of points instantly popped up. Wow. She hit it. She's so good, the young couple on the other side exclaimed. Nice job. Give me a kiss, Chin-Shu said with a smile. Humin was also in a good mood. She tilted her head and kissed the corner of Chin-Shu's mouth. Who would have thought that at such an age, the two of them would find the feeling of puppy love in the arcade? Not far away, a man narrowed his eyes and looked over. Is that Humin? Chapter 580. Tang Chuan was a video game enthusiast, different from Wei Liao and Su Yu. Wei Liao and Su Yu spent most of their time at nightclubs and private clubs. Only Tang Chuan's childishness remained, and he often came here with a few other young masters to play. Tang Chuan never thought that he would see Humin here. The person sitting next to her was Chin-Shu. Tang Chuan took out his phone and secretly recorded a short video not far behind them. Then he sent it to Su Yu. So, as Chin-Shu's buddy, Gao Ran was sometimes very annoying, but only occasionally. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were Su Yu's buddies, but they were always annoying. Although only Humin's back could be seen in the short video, Su Yu recognized her immediately. At this moment, in the executive meeting room at Imperial Star's headquarters, after watching the short video, Su Yu looked up and looked around. Did you guys remember today's mission? Yes, President Su. The dozen or so executives all nodded. It was the middle of the night, but the big boss wasn't sleeping, wasn't flirting with girls, and wasn't going to nightclubs. Instead, he was working overtime and having a meeting. It seemed like Su Yu could be serious sometimes, dismissed. After speaking, Su Yu stood up and left the meeting room. Then, he immediately called Tang Chuan. Hello, Lord Su. What did you see her? Su Yu didn't hold back at all and went straight to the point. TSK, TSK. Why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night? Sleep your ass. Huh, it's good that you slept with her. That girl is crazy about you. Tang Chuan laughed evilly. Cut the crap. Tell me what I want. Su Yu couldn't wait. What? If I tell you where she is, will you come immediately? Tang Chuan continued to tease Su Yu with a smile. Little bastard, I'll give you 3 seconds. If you don't tell me, I'll send you to South Side again. Su Yu began to threaten him. No. Lord Su, I'm done with you. I don't want to go to South Side again. Not only is the food bad, but Humin is too damn scary. Tang Chuan still remembered South Side was still fresh in his memory. Not only was he tortured by Humin, but he also couldn't eat, sleep, or get any girls over there. He was in a bad mood and was in a bad mood. Cut the crap. Get to the point. Su Yu was impatient. If Tang Chuan was in front of him right now, he would definitely smash his head into pieces. She's on the 7th floor of the arcade. Before Su Yu could say anything, Tang Chuan continued, but I advise you not to come. You should know from a video that she came with her husband. You'll only be looking for trouble if you come. Su Yu remained silent upon hearing this. Hello? Lord Su, are you still there? Tang Chuan was confused. Turn on the video call. Then, Su Yu quickly hung up the phone. Then, Tang Chuan restarted the video call. After the two connected, Tang Chuan purposely didn't point the camera at Humin. Do you want to die? Su Yu cursed. I can see her, but a bottle of Lafite. Tang Chuan bargained. Su Yu's wine cellar was full of good wine. As a veteran wine lover, he owned a private estate in France. Apparently, Su Yu would personally go there every year and choose a batch of good wine. He would send it back and store it for himself. Therefore, people in the industry would be honored if they could drink a bottle of Su Yu's wine. Stop talking nonsense. I'll send you 10 bottles of red wine later. Hurry up and let me see. Su Yu had a bad temper. He didn't have much patience. Tang Chuan saw that he had succeeded. He smiled and turned the camera. Then, the scene changed. Where is she? Su Yu's face darkened. Ahem. I swear, she was playing fisherman just now. Is it true? Tang Chuan quickly explained. He was also confused. How did she disappear in such a short time? Motherfucker, if you can't find her, I'll go to the arcade and destroy you, Su Yu threatened. Tang Chuan looked at Su Yu's crazy face and laughed until his stomach hurt. Just you wait, Lord Su. Even if I have to turn this place upside down, I'll find your sweetheart. Tang Chuan turned around to look. At this time, a beautiful face appeared in the video call. "Are you looking for me?" Tang Chuan, who was holding the phone, and Su Yu, who was in the video, were both dumbfounded by the sudden turn of events. Chapter 581. Qin Shu was standing in front of the camera, and he was alone. Huamin was nowhere to be seen. Tang Chuan was dumbfounded and didn't know what to do. Su Yu, on the other hand, reacted quickly. He looked at Qin Shu with disdain and said, "I want to see Huamin." "Oh, then you don't have a chance. My wife already went downstairs." Tang Chuan. Su Yu. Just then, Qin Shu smiled and said, "President Su, it seems like you're not busy enough. I'll have to work harder." "You think I'm afraid of you? You think you can defeat me with just a few tricks? You're too naive." Su Yu sneered. He felt like Qin Shu hadn't even been back for a year and didn't seem to understand the situation in China. It wasn't that Imperial Star Media didn't have any rivals over the years, but those rivals all ended up in miserable states. Anyone who went against Su Yu didn't have a good ending. Although GK was a big corporation, there was a saying that a powerful dragon couldn't defeat a local snake. So you felt like he was a local snake, and this was his territory. There was no way he would be bullied by someone who had just returned from abroad 7 years ago. "Don't be so sure. We'll see." After speaking, Qin Shu turned around. Suddenly, he turned around again and smiled at Su Yu on Tang Chuan's phone. "Oh, right? Didn't your teacher teach you something when you were in school? Don't think about things that don't belong to you. Otherwise, your life will be very tiring." After hearing this, Su Yu's face darkened bit by bit. Then he replied domineeringly, "I'm sorry, I didn't even graduate from elementary school. I went straight to the army. I don't understand this bullshit." "It's okay if you don't understand. I'll teach you the truth," Mr. Qin said arrogantly before turning around and walking away. Su Yu didn't feel good at all. Damn it, he was so excited to see Huamin. Not only did he not see him, but he was also ridiculed by Qin Shu. Tang Chuan did not dare to provoke Su Yu. He did not dare to say anything more and immediately hung up the video call. In fact, after the fisherman won, Huamin excitedly used the points he won to exchange for gifts. In the end, she changed to a lot of stuffed animals. She planned to put them on the rear window of her Audi R8. Although it was a little childish, she liked it. Qin Shu asked her to wait downstairs while he went to the bathroom. Just like that, she sent Huamin away. Qin Shu, on the other hand, had noticed when Tang Chuan was secretly taking photos of them for the first time, so he walked over directly. Talking to Su Yu face to face, when Qin Shu went downstairs, Huamin was still waiting at the door with the doll in his arms. "Get in the car. What took you so long? I thought you fell into the bathroom," Huamin teased. "No, I just ran into someone I know and said a few words to." "Oh, did he meet someone he knew here? Who is it?" Huamin was curious. A business partner." Qin Shu thought for a moment and finally classified Su Yu as a business partner. He wondered if Su Yu would be depressed if he heard this. "Oh, I see. What, didn't you have enough fun?" Qin Shu asked when he saw that Huamin was in a good mood. "No, I'm pretty tired. Let's go home." Qin Shu nodded and opened the front passenger door for Huamin like a gentleman. The two went back to Imperial Park together. Huamin actually really wanted to go back to the castle. After all, it was a 400 million yuan mansion. However, he felt that it was too empty. After all, they didn't have children yet. So, even with a butler, driver, and maid, it was still weird for the two of them to live there. So, he decided to just treat Imperial Park as his home. After the two of them went back to take a shower, Huamin tiredly climbed onto the big bed. Qin Shu immediately rolled over and pressed himself on top of Huamin. Then he seductively whispered into his ear, "Dr. Hua, do you need a massage?" Chapter 582. I don't need it. Huamin refused right away. "Take it. I won't take your tip." Qin Shu smiled. Then, before Huamin could say anything, he reached his hand in her silky nightgown. Huamin felt all the cells in her body tremble. Qin Shu was always able to bring out his perverted nature in bed. Although they had been married for so long and had done it many times, but Faced with Qin Shu's passion, Huamin still felt like a shy girl. I'm shy, I'm shy, I'm shy. Important things had to be said 3 times. I don't want your tip. Huamin turned around and pushed Qin Shu's hand away. She smiled as if she wanted to reject him. After Qin Shu's hand was stopped, he didn't give up. Instead, he lowered his head and rubbed Huamin's sensitive ears and neck. Are you a wolf? Why do I feel like I can't feed you enough? Huamin sighed and asked. No, I'm easily satisfied. Once a day is enough. Once a day? Oh my God. Huamin wanted to say something, but before she could, she saw Qin Shu's entire body pressing down on Huamin's petite body. The night was dark, and the two of them made love for a long time. In the end, Qin Shu carried the exhausted Huamin to take a shower. Then, he carried her back to the big bed and gently held her in his arms. Honey, I'm so sleepy. Huamin mumbled in a sleepy voice like a child. Then sleep. Qin Shu raised his hand and gently stroked her delicate face. His eyes were still filled with love. Huamin was probably really sleepy, so it didn't take long for her to fall asleep. Qin Shu's hand on her face slid down to her flat stomach. At the thought that not long after, there might be a product of their love here, a cute baby. He was filled with happiness. If it was a boy, he would want him to be like him, a strong and tough guy, so that they could protect their mother together in the future. If it was a girl, he would pamper her like a princess and let his daughter rule the world in the future. Qin Shu thought that it didn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. As long as it was Huamin's child, he would love it deeply. In a VIP room of a nightclub in the city center, Annie, have you thought about what I told you? Jiang Linyue was dressed in a black miniskirt, completely different from her usual white-collar look. She looked wild and wild. Through her best friend's introduction, she finally met Annie Liang. Annie Liang seemed to be hesitant during their previous phone calls. This time, they had arranged to meet at a small nightclub. They didn't dare to go to Seductive Fox. She was afraid that Su Yu and her friends would bump into them. After all, it was about job hopping. I've thought about it, and 3 times the price is indeed quite high. However, I heard that your company is also offering 3 times the price to other people. Miss Jiang, you should know that I'm one of the best actresses in the industry. I won the Best Actress award before and came to Imperial Star from another company. I'm also quite rich. Now that you're offering me the same price as other people, I don't feel good about it. Are you looking down on me? Don't think that Jian Tong is more famous and popular than me right now, but I became famous before her. After all, I debuted earlier and still have a good reputation. Those scheming bitches like Zhao Qingya and Jian Tong can't compare to me. Am I right? Annie Liang was wearing a red low-cut dress and a black top hat. She played with her nails as she boasted shamelessly. Her attitude was extremely arrogant, which made Jiang Linyue uncomfortable. She didn't think that Annie Liang would put her in her place as soon as they started talking. Chapter 583. Annie Liang had always been an important person in the entertainment industry. She had won the Best Actress award before, so she had some capital. After she came to Imperial Star, her life had been smooth sailing, but unfortunately, she never became the #1 actress. Zhao Qingya used to suppress her, but after Zhao Qingya disappeared, Jian Tong took her place. Therefore, she had always been unhappy. She wasn't very popular, and it was exposed that she liked to act like a big shot. She had changed managers and assistants multiple times, and apparently, her private life was messy. She dated countless male celebrities and rich businessmen, which was why Imperial Star didn't want to promote her. You're right, but you have to believe in our sincerity. As an executive of GK, I can speak directly to the president. The president said that as long as you're willing to come, everything is negotiable. Jiang Linyue's attitude was very good, and she kept smiling. Jiang Linyue wasn't in charge of film and television to begin with, so she tried so hard to rope in Annie Liang. She wanted nothing more than to ask Qin Shu for credit and impress him. Otherwise, with her arrogant personality, why would she take Annie Liang's attitude? Everything is negotiable? That sounds nice, but it's not real. Miss Jiang, tell me the truth. Is GK sincere enough to sign me? If not, I won't waste my time here with you. I have a lot of scripts waiting for me to memorize at home. Then, Annie Leon got up to leave. Jiang Linyue quickly stopped her. No, everything is negotiable. Really, why don't you give me a condition, and I'll see if I can accept it. Jiang Linyue was willing to risk everything in order to gain credit. Upon hearing Jiang Linyue's words, Annie Leon turned around and sat down. Then, she raised 5 fingers. 5 times. 5 times? Isn't that too much? Jiang Linyue vaguely heard that Annie Liang's annual salary at Imperial Star was 30 million yuan. Now, she was asking for 5 times that, which was 150 million yuan. Even if she was covered in gold, she still wasn't worth that much, right? She was asking for a sky-high price. 3 times, 90 million yuan, was already giving her a lot of face, but she was putting on airs. Jiang Linyue was furious, but on the surface, she was willing to continue the negotiation. Is it a lot? I heard that even a newbie like Mian was offered 3 times the price. I'm an award-winning actress who debuted many years ago. How is that not worth it? Annie Liang's tone was sour. It was obvious that she did not have a good relationship with the other female artists. Whether it was Jian Tong or Mian, she viewed them both as enemies. Jiang Linyue explained with a smile. The key is that Mian's contract isn't that expensive. 3 times the contract is less than 30 million yuan. You're so rich, 3 times the contract is already a huge amount. If it's 5 times the contract, then it's a bit over the budget. If that's the case, then I don't think there's any need for us to continue talking. As she spoke, Annie Liang tried to get up again. Jiang Linyue immediately pulled out her phone and said, Annie, wait a second. Don't worry, I'll call our president and ask what he thinks. Okay? After all, it's too much money, and I can't make the decision. If the boss agrees, I naturally hope that you can earn more. After all, you're Huan's cousin, and we're not far from each other, right? Upon hearing this, Annie Liang turned around and leaned back on the sofa. She didn't say anything else, seemingly agreeing with Jiang Linyue's words. She was waiting for her to call her boss. Jiang Linyue picked up her phone, walked a few steps to the center of the room, and dialed Qin Shu's number right in front of Annie Liang. Chapter 584. When Qin Shu and Huamin slept in the same bed, their phones were always on silent. This was because he didn't want to scare Huamin if he called. However, Qin Shu wasn't asleep. He was looking at some floor plans of the company on his tablet. His phone lit up silently. He glanced at it and saw that it was a call from Jiang Linyue. However, he didn't plan on picking up. Truth be told, he was a bit disgusted by Jiang Linyue. Women who appeared obedient on the surface were actually the scariest. If they could pretend to be like this, then you would never know what they were really hiding in the depths of their hearts. People who wore a scary mask would never be able to see through or communicate with people like her. In comparison, Qin Shu loved people like Huamin, who revealed their true selves at all times. It didn't matter if Huamin was arrogant, pretentious, or cold. At least she always showed her true self. After ringing for a while, Jiang Linyue didn't pick up. Instead, she pretended to say, Hey, boss, sorry for bothering you. I need to talk to you. Can you increase Miss Annie Liang's salary by 5 times? What? Okay, I got it. We'll have to work together next time. After hanging up, Jiang Linyue looked at Annie Liang with a bit of frustration and said, I'm sorry, Annie. Our boss didn't agree. He said that 5 A-listers from Imperial Star already came over. As for you, we can only triple your salary. Even if it's triple, you're still the highest. 5 times is too high and not within the company's budget. It looks like we'll have to work together next time. Annie Liang's face darkened bit by bit as she heard this. The truth was, 3 times was already very high, but she just wanted it to be a bit higher. That was why she purposely wanted to leave again and again. Now that Jiang Linyue took the initiative, she was almost at a loss for words. The tables had turned, and Annie Liang was caught off guard. What did President Qin say? Annie Liang asked, unwilling to give up. Jiang Linyue sat down next to Annie Liang, looked in her eyes, and said awkwardly, Annie, Our boss is very decisive and resolute, and no one can change his mind. As a friend, I hope you cherish this opportunity. After all, there aren't many opportunities. I've heard from Juan about you, and it seems like things aren't going well for you at Imperial Star. Imperial Star is like a star-making factory, and it produces so many new talents every year, so it's very competitive. Why don't you jump ship to us while you're still young? We're just starting out, and we'll definitely promote famous actresses like you. After all, we've spent a lot of money on you, right? You're a smart person. I don't have to say much. You know the reason. So, go back and think about it. There's not much time. If it's possible, we can sign the contract tomorrow morning. If not, it's okay. With Juan's relationship, we'll always be friends. Annie Leong gasped when she heard what Jiang Linyue said. What was this called? It was a battle between two scheming bitches. Annie Leong had always thought that she had seen all kinds of people in the entertainment industry since she debuted in her teens. Her scheming was unfathomable, and normal women were no match for her. However, this professional executive, Jiang Linyue, managed to put her at a disadvantage with just a few words. This made her look at her in a new light. Most importantly, Jiang Linyue kept using Juan as an excuse to talk about Juan. She said things like, "I'm doing it for your own good, we're friends, and I'm looking out for your interests." However, even though Annie Leong knew that she was just being polite, she was still speechless. She stared into Jiang Linyue's eyes and sighed slightly. "Miss Jiang, you have such a sharp tongue." Chapter 585. No, I'm just an errand girl. I really want to poach a superstar like you for our company. Jiang Linyue smiled. Okay, I'll think about it when I get back. I'll get back to you later. Okay, I'll look forward to working with you. Jiang Linyue shook hands with Annie Leong. The negotiation went well. The two walked out one after the other. Annie Leong wrapped herself up tightly, afraid that the media or Imperial Star would see her. After all, if she left Imperial Star for money, she would be betraying her master for glory. She actually liked Suyu a lot, but Suyu never liked her, so she decided to take this opportunity to join GK. She saw Qin Shu's picture in a magazine once, and he was an extraordinarily handsome man. Although his expression was cold, she was still very interested in him. Therefore, in her heart, she was already leaning towards GK. She just wanted to take this opportunity to raise the price, but to her surprise, Jiang Linyue's phone call stopped her from doing so. On the way back, Jiang Linyue was in a great mood. She drove and listened to English songs. Her best friend, Liao Juan, sent her a WeChat message. Yeah, what's going on? What did my cousin say? She should be able to come. She said she'll get back to me tonight, Jiang Linyue replied. What an idiot. What's there to think about? She should have just signed. Imperial Star really isn't a good fit for her. She's already fallen out of favor with young Master Su. Wait, I'll call her and talk to her for you. Jiang Linyue put down her phone and smiled slightly. She was determined to get Annie Leong. She wanted to win Qin Shu's appreciation bit by bit, and then climb in her boss's bed. This was her ultimate dream. She no longer thought about the issue of status. She didn't care who Qin Shu's wife was, but she had to sleep with her boss. Otherwise, all the years she spent at a boring corporation like GK would have been wasted. Was she someone who would give up so easily? Of course not. 1 a.m. After Jiang Linyue went home and showered, she received a call from Annie Leong. She said that they could sign the contract tomorrow. She was instantly in a great mood. As far as she knew, the other artists in GK only signed intent contracts. The contract of intent was not the final contract, and there was a possibility of it being breached at any time. However, if they were to sign a real contract and breach the contract, they would have to pay 10 times the penalty. She believed that Annie Leong wasn't that stupid. You wouldn't burn 10 times the money for her to breach the contract, so everything would be fine after tomorrow. She was a little excited now. She thought about how she would be able to stand beside her boss during the company's 30th anniversary party. Therefore, she had to work harder to get close to Qin Shu. The next morning at about 9 p.m., Suyu drove his dusty orange Bugatti Veyron to the car wash in a flashy way. After that, He went to the headquarters of Star King. Good morning, President Sue. Good morning, President Sue. In the company's lobby, when some employees saw their boss, it was as if they had been injected with chicken blood. They all rushed forward to flatter him. Suyu looked at his Patek Philippe watch, which cost more than 1 million yuan, and his face darkened. It's almost 10 o'clock. What do you mean by early? Instantly, the entire place fell silent. The boss isn't in a good mood. Is it because he was poached recently? I don't know. The boss isn't that stingy, right? Maybe it's because he hasn't had a woman recently and has nowhere to vent his anger. A few male employees whispered to each other. Inside the president's office, boss, assistant, and stood at the door with a straight face and quietly called out, "What's the progress with GK?" Suyu walked in, grabbed a cocktail from the wine cabinet, and drank it like it was a soft drink. 5 artists have signed a contract of intent, but speak. Suyu looked at him, wanted to say something but hesitating, and ordered him. But that woman, Annie Liang, went to sign a real contract this morning. Do we have to stop her? And ask. Chapter 586. Suyu slowly put down the cocktail bottle. Stop them? Why should I stop them? Boss, didn't you plan to let them? Annie Liang was never part of my plan. Suyu smiled faintly and suddenly understood. Boss, you're saying that we should use this opportunity to get rid of her. She's past her prime here anyway, and she's never been obedient. She's been fighting for the company's reputation, so it's a good idea to let her go. Wherever people like her go, no one will be safe. Boss, you're very thoughtful, but what about the others? How many days until the opening of GK Film and Television? 2 days. Oh, good. Just let them continue with the plan. Okay. And nodded and turned to leave. Suyu crossed his legs and leaned back in his luxurious executive chair. He was looking forward to the opening of GK Film and Television in 2 days. It was going to be very lively. As their biggest competitor, shouldn't they send a wreath? Oh no, a flower basket over? GK headquarters. Boss, Director Jiang has successfully signed Annie Liang this morning. It's a good thing for us. Yang excitedly reported on the new company's progress. He thought that his boss was happy. However, there wasn't a trace of happiness on Qin Shu's face. Qin Shu looked at the numbers on his laptop and said nonchalantly, "What's there to be happy about signing a has-been star for 90 million yuan? Weren't you the one who set the price?" Yang asked fearlessly. Qin Shu let go of the mouse and turned to look at Yang. "My goal isn't to get a star, but to make Imperial Star run out of stars." "Oh, so that's your goal, but there's so many stars in Imperial Star, we can't get all of them." Yang looked sad, thinking that his boss's mission was too difficult. "That's why we're picking famous stars." "Oh, I see." As soon as Yang finished speaking, someone knocked on his office door. "Come in." "CEO Qin, I want to talk to you about Annie Liang's contract." Today, Zhang Linyue was wearing a pair of flesh-colored wide-legged pants and a vest. She did look a lot younger, but no matter how exquisite she looked, Qin Shu wouldn't take another look at her. "I heard about it from Xiaoyang. President Qin, I signed a real contract, not an intention contract," Zhang Linyue anxiously added. "I know." Qin Shu's voice was still indifferent. "Miss Annie Liang wanted 5 times the original amount, but I purposely called you last night and told you that you could only offer 3 times the original amount. I spent a lot of time with her before I finally won her over. Looks like my efforts were not in vain." Zhang Linyue's words were so direct that even assisting Yang didn't know what she meant. Wasn't he just here to take credit and ask the boss to praise him? Unexpectedly, Qin Shu calmly dialed the finance department's internal line. Then he instructed, "When you give out your monthly salary, give Director Jiang in the design department 3 times the salary as a bonus." "Yes, President Qin." The director of finance immediately responded. Zhang Linyue quickly explained, "President Qin, I didn't mean for a bonus. You misunderstood me. It's okay, you deserve it." When Qin Shu spoke, his gaze was fixed on the computer screen. He didn't even look at Zhang Linyue, but Zhang Linyue seemed like she still wanted to say something. "Nothing. You can leave now. If you have something to say, we'll talk about it in the morning meeting." Qin Shu's one sentence silenced all of Jiang Linyue's words. Yes, President Qin. Jiang Linyue turned around and left the president's office, a bit dejected. Shouldn't the president be happy that she signed Annie Liang? Why did he only give her a bonus? She wasn't someone who loved money. Sir, should we leak the news of Annie Liang signing a contract to the media? It'll be very beneficial for our company, Assistant Yang excitedly asked. No. Qin Shu immediately rejected him. Why not? It's such a good opportunity, sir. Assistant Yang's enthusiasm was instantly extinguished by Qin Shu, and he was instantly defeated. Chapter 587. Qin Shu glanced at Yang and patiently explained. Annie Liang has a bad reputation in the industry. Her private life is messy, and she has a lot of negative news. If we expose her too much, it'll cause a lot of gossip. Then, it'll drown out the news of our new company's opening. Do you think that'll work? Sir, you're indeed very thoughtful. I was too abrupt, but I didn't think you would pay attention to gossip. You even know that Miss Annie Liang's private life is messy and has a lot of negative news. Haha. Little Yang laughed joyfully. He thought that with his boss's arrogance, he wouldn't know any female celebrities. Except for a young lady. Know yourself and know your enemy. If I don't know them, how can I fight with Suyu? Sir, you're absolutely right. Stop flattering me and get to work. The opening is in 2 days. I don't want to see any mistakes. Yes, sir. Qin Shu had been busy with the opening of his new company and GK's 30-year anniversary celebration. He had a lot of work to do as soon as he entered the company. Southside Recuperation Center, Jiang Xiaowei, the psychologist, came twice. However, she didn't succeed. Anai Yang's emotional knot was too deep, so he couldn't break through at the critical moment. Seeing that Anai Yang's treatment had reached a bottleneck, Huamin made a bold decision and decided to take a risk. Therefore, she met with Anai Yang alone in the VIP hypnosis room. Before meeting with Anai Yang, she opened her palm and swallowed 2 pink pills. I'll be counting on you later. As soon as she finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Anai Yang walked in. He was wearing black casual wear, a black baseball bat, a white mask, and black sunglasses. It was the standard look of a celebrity. Huamin was still wearing her white lab coat. She had shoulder-length hair, a handsome face, and bright eyes. Perhaps because they had interacted before, Anai Yang felt that Huamin was a trustworthy person. Therefore, he was very cooperative with the treatment. Are we going to hypnotize him again today? Anai Yang took off his mask, his eyes filled with sadness. Even the tone of his voice sounded so unhappy. No more hypnosis today. We have more important things to do today, Huamin said in all seriousness. Do you want me to sedate him? I can't right now. I have a lot of things to do, and I have a new music video to shoot tomorrow. Anai Yang thought Huamin's hypnosis. He thought that Huamin's hypnosis would be effective drugs to control his condition. However, Huamin, once again, then, Huamin, attention, Huamin's what attention, mean of the attention mean. She didn't know when Huamian had decorated the floor with tatami mats. There were 2 round grass mats on both sides, and in the middle was a small round wooden table. It was neither too big nor too small, just right. And Yang slowly walked over and sat down. Then, he leaned over and looked out of the window. Outside the window was the back garden of the hospital. Looking down from this angle, it was actually quite beautiful. Are we going to look at the scenery? Yang asked faintly. No, I'll treat you to a drink today. Then, Huamin took out a few bottles of red wine and placed them on the small wooden table. There were blueberry-flavored, orange-flavored, and vanilla-flavored red wine. Of course, she couldn't tell him that she stole it from Mr. Qin's wine cellar at her old castle. Since Yang was a celebrity, Huamin couldn't give him wine with a high alcohol content, so Huamin chose fruit-flavored red wine. Wine? Yang looked at Huamin in disbelief. He thought that his assistant doctor, Huamin, was crazy. Chapter 588. Yeah, let's not talk about your illness today. We'll just drink. Why? And Aiyong looked at Hua Min cautiously. Because getting drunk will solve all your problems. Ha! Don't worry. I won't take photos of you while you're drunk. I'm not that unprofessional. I know. And Aiyong said quietly. So are we drinking or not? I respect your decision. If you trust me, then sit down and drink as much as you want. If you have concerns, I understand. After all, you're a public figure. If your manager, Sister Ingzi, finds out, she'll probably scold me to death. Hua Min laughed heartlessly. Even though she knew that she would be scolded and complained about, she was still willing to try. After about 5 seconds of silence, Aiyong slowly raised his head, revealing his clear eyes. Then let's drink. Indeed, he had been too depressed recently. Sister Ingzi was very strict with him and didn't let him drink at all. She was afraid that he would lose his composure and ruin his image as an idol. He also knew that Sister Ingzi was doing this for his own good. Therefore, he didn't argue with him. Now that Hua Min had brought out this wine, he was even allowed to drink as much as he wanted. He was really a young man who was ready to make a move. His pure hormones were jumping around. Just like that, the two of them faced each other and began drinking. Hua Min was a northern girl and had a straightforward personality. She was also a drunkard who liked to drink a lot. If Qin Shu caught her, she would probably be screwed. However, in order to break through the bottleneck of treating Aiyong, she was going all out. She was risking her life to accompany him. This one is pretty good. Where did you buy it? Aiyong asked as he held up a glass of orange-flavored red wine. It's from my house. Hua Min was a little embarrassed. She didn't dare to say that she stole it from Mr. Qin. The alcohol in your house is really good. Sister Ingzi doesn't allow me to drink, so I rarely drink cocktails. I only drink a little with the bosses during commercial performances. I'm really sick of socializing, but I can't change the situation. Don't you think I'm very stubborn? Aiyong smiled bitterly. Since you can't change your life, why not change yourself first? Hua Min said calmly. Change myself? Aiyong looked at her in confusion. In other words, you're a celebrity, you're a public figure. Everyone's evaluation of you will definitely be mixed. You don't have to pay too much attention to the praises, and don't take the criticisms to heart either. Just be indifferent. Those are all illusions. Living a comfortable life is the real thing. You're right. I'm just too stubborn. I can't change the situation, but I have to complain every day. In the end, I ended up like this. Ha! I'm really not suited for the entertainment industry, I think. Then quit. Lin Fan's eyes widened. Quit? That's impossible. I have more than 20 contracts on my back. If I quit, I'll jump off a building. So, if you can't do it, don't complain. Then, Hua Min said, maybe you think I'm being a little harsh, but I'm telling the truth. I know. Aiyong nodded. I can tell that you have unhappy pasts. Actually, everyone has them. No one is as happy as they appear to be. Recently, there's a saying on the internet that I really like. What saying? Aiyong seemed to be interested in Hua Min's words. Deep feelings for the past, but never look back. Hua Min said word by word. Deep feelings? Haha. Indeed, never look back. That's right, I won't look back. Aiyong seemed to be touched. He picked up the bottle and took a big gulp. Hua Min also raised the bottle in his hand. Cheers. Just then, Hua Min's phone rang. It was Qin Shu ahem. Shu, I need to take this call. Don't say anything. If Mr. Qin finds out that I'm drinking, I'm dead meat. After making a shushing gesture at Aiyong, Hua Min stood up and picked up the phone nervously. Hello, Mr. Qin. Chapter 589. Honey, what are you doing? Qin Shu's gentle voice came from the other end of the phone. Work. Hua Min purposely spoke in a light tone, afraid that Mr. Qin would notice something amiss. After all, Mr. Qin was incredibly smart. Work? What work? Qin Shu never asked about Hua Min's daily work. Hua Min was so scared that she felt even more guilty. The work that I do every day. I check the wards, observe the patients, and hold meetings with my subordinates. Oh, is that really the case? Qin Shu asked worriedly. Of course, everything's fine. What's wrong with you today? Why don't you trust me? Huamin still felt extremely guilty. My right eyelid was twitching a lot just now. Every time I have this feeling, it means that you're in trouble, Qin Chu said nonchalantly. Huamin was so scared that she almost dropped her phone. Ahem, so you're suspecting that I'm in trouble? Huamin purposely asked. Yeah, you're overthinking it. I'm working, I won't get into trouble. Don't worry about it. Then you be careful, Qin Chu said worriedly. Okay. Huamin nodded. After she hung up the phone, her heart finally settled down. She was really afraid that Qin Chu would ask her to turn on a video call. If she turned on a video call now, she wouldn't even be able to run out in time if she hesitated for a few seconds. And Yang's terrifying agent was guarding the door. If she saw them drinking in a room, she would probably be scolded to death. Phew, that was close. Huamin put her phone in the pocket of her lab coat and let out a long sigh. What's wrong? And Yang looked at her blankly. My husband just came to check on me. He doesn't allow me to drink. That was close. He almost found out. You married? And Yang was a little surprised. After all, Huamin looked so young. Yeah, I'm married, Huamin replied with a smile. How old are you? Why are you getting married? And Yang seemed to be a little confused. Please, superstar, who cares about age now? The legal age for marriage is 20 years old for women and 22 years old for men. My husband and I both meet the requirements, so why can't we get married? Huamin had never felt that he had gotten married early. Perhaps he had already decided that Qin Chu would be his lifelong lover, so he had never considered this issue. But the truth was, Huamin did get married a little early. She was the youngest among their classmates. Because she had skipped a grade, she was 3 years younger than her classmates. However, many of their classmates were still unmarried. Compared to them, she was considered to have gotten married early. After all, she was only 24 years old. No, I just think that it's too early. Some people just started their careers. I'm afraid that getting married too early will affect their careers, and Yang said slowly. Huamin nodded. You're right, but it depends on your profession. Of course, people in your profession can't get married too early. Even if you do get married, you have to keep it a secret. After all, your fans won't be able to take it. I'm just a nurse, so why should I care so much? Isn't marriage and having children normal? It's a process that everyone has to go through in life. That's true. Huamin, you're so broad-minded. I thought that you had a very generous personality. You're not like those women who fuss over trivial things every day. But how did you do it? You're so young. You shouldn't be so mature and mature, right? And Yang was puzzled. Chapter 590. If I'm unhappy for a minute, I'll lose 60 seconds of happiness. So why would I be so stupid? People live for themselves. Let me put it this way. I'm not a likable person at all. When I was in school, almost no one liked me. Some people were jealous of my talent because I didn't need to study, read, or revise, and still easily beat them in exams. Some people thought I was too arrogant and pretentious, so they didn't like me. Over the years, some people admired me, and some people hated me. But it doesn't matter, I'm not R&B, so I can't be liked by the whole country. No matter what others say, I'm still me. Huamin actually realized all of this after her mother forgave Qin Chu. After removing that burden from her, she suddenly felt that the whole world was bright and beautiful. There was no problem that could make her frown and worry. You're really different. After I came to Southside for treatment, Director Lee kept recommending you. My agent didn't agree to let you be my assistant doctor at first because you weren't a professional doctor because she was afraid something would go wrong. But now I understand that Director Lee must have her reasons for liking you. You're really different. Are you praising me or complimenting me? Huamin chuckled. I'm complimenting you. You're a little older than me, so I'll call you Big Sister Huamin from now on, and Yang said faintly. To be honest, Huamin was quite shocked when she heard this. Patients with depression were very defensive. They wouldn't take the initiative to make friends, let alone open their hearts. And Yang called Huamin Big Sister, so it was obvious that he had let down his guard around her. If you're willing, of course, that's great. I have a younger brother who's younger than you. He's very sensible, and I think you're quite close to him. You're so young, and I really don't want you to be troubled by depression. Don't worry, if you're willing to trust me, I'll do my best to cure your illness. You can't call me sister for nothing." Huomin smiled and raised a bottle, and Ai Yang gave a rare smile, revealing his canine teeth. It was very cute. Huomin suddenly realized that Ai Yang was actually a very sunny boy. He looked so good when he smiled. "If only I didn't have depression, then I'll thank Sister Huomin first." And Ai Yang raised the bottle and took another big gulp. According to common sense, children who never drank alcohol should get drunk as soon as they drank, but, and Ai Yang and Huomin both drank 2 bottles of wine each, but he still didn't look drunk at all. So, Huomin quietly took out 2 more bottles and continued to drink as they chatted and laughed. Luckily, she came prepared and took out 10 bottles, speaking of which, her heart ached. These bottles of wine must have been very expensive. After all, they were Mr. Chen's treasure collection. If one day he realized that he didn't have enough wine, would he get angry? Ha! After the 2 of them drank 8 bottles of wine, and Ai Yang began to feel tipsy, and his mood changed slightly. He looked out the window, and his expression became melancholic. Seizing the opportunity, Huomin quietly asked, "And Ai Yang, when you were hypnotized, you always became emotional when you saw that person. Then, you wouldn't tell me. Can you tell me who he is now?" Chapter 591. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I just think that if you talk about it, it'll help you get better, Huomin added. After about 10 seconds of silence, and Ai Yang turned around, looked into Huomin's eyes, and slowly said, "When I was 10 years old, she left me and ran away with another man to pursue her so-called happiness. She left me with my alcoholic father, and because she left, he took his anger out on me and beat me up every day when he was drunk. One day, he chased after me and I ran away, but a car suddenly came by and hit him. Then he died. I thought it was karma. My grandparents lived in the countryside, and they weren't in good health. They were old and had no source of income, so they begged my aunt to take me in. I lived under her roof for 3 years, and when I was 14, I dropped out of school and went out to make friends with some hooligans. Then, I lived in internet cafes and game arcades for about a year until Sister Ingzi appeared. She was a top manager and had a good eye for talent. She knew that I had potential, so she took me out of that industry, changed my name, did some minor surgery, and went to Korea for closed-door training. I stayed in Korea for 3 years before I came back. Then, I debuted at the age of 18, and until today, if Sister Ingzi didn't save me, I'm guessing that I would still be in prison or a hooligan. Your mother, how could she be so cruel?" Huomin was a little moved. "She was never my mother. She didn't deserve it. I remember that after she left, she asked someone to buy me a new set of clothes. She even left a note saying that she hoped I wouldn't hate her and that everything she did was for my little brother. Ha, what a joke. She sacrificed me for the sake of a child with someone else? She did it for my little brother, but what if no one cares about my big brother? Is she still in contact with you?" Huomin pitted an Ai Yang when he heard about his miserable life. He truly felt that this man didn't have it easy. He went from being a hooligan to a dazzling superstar. This was simply the path of a counterattack. That man cheated on her and abandoned her. She worked several part-time jobs to support that wastrel. She came to me several times and asked me for money, but I didn't give her any. Later, she even threatened to expose my true identity to the media and expose my dark history of being a gangster when I was young. She even said that she would sue me for abandoning her. And Ai Yang smiled bitterly. "You must be a gift from her when she recharges her phone," Huomin said quietly. I also suspected that I wasn't her biological child. I even did a paternity test, but the results were laughable. I'm actually, then she's too much. A mother who wants to expose her own son must be drunk. Huomin sighed. "Do you know what I told her back then?" And Ai Yang raised his head and asked in return. "You gave her money." "You blocked her mouth?" Huomin guessed. "I didn't give her a single cent. I told her to go ahead and expose me. If I lose everything I have now, I promise to use my money to find someone to kill her wastrel son." She was scared when she heard that. She thought I would really do it, and scolded me for being inhumane. But until now, she hasn't exposed anything about me. So, my threat was very effective. If she really did expose you, would you do that? Huamin asked nervously. Sister Huamin, what do you think? And I Yang asked with a smile. Chapter 592. I don't think you'll actually do that. Huamin replied seriously. Why not? Because I can see the kindness in your bones. You just saying that. Huh. I didn't think that you would understand a side of me that even my own mother doesn't know. I was just trying to scare her. I never thought of doing that. Even if she exposed me, it would only ruin my image. I have enough money now, and I could go anywhere I want with it. I just haven't repaid Sister Ingzi's kindness. I promised her that I would be an idol for 10 years, and I Yang said faintly. Has she always been the cause of your stress? Huamin asked, her heart aching. Yes. Then I think you can let it go, because she got what she deserved for abandoning you all those years ago. As for you, you've achieved great things. It's all in the past. What are you still thinking about? I can't accept it, Huamin sis. I can't accept that dark past. Even now, when I think about it, it still hurts me so much that I want to die. To be honest, I didn't want to be a celebrity. I just wanted to be an ordinary person. If she hadn't abandoned me all those years ago, I might have been able to go through high school and university like other kids. Maybe I would have just graduated from university, have a stable job, and have a girl I like. But now I have nothing. Do you understand? I don't even want to live anymore. I don't know what else I want in this world. And I Yang hugged his head in pain, and it seemed like he was starting to get emotional. Huamin immediately reached out to touch his hand and comforted him. And I Yang, if you believe me, then listen to me. God has his own plans for you to be alive. Just because you don't have it now doesn't mean you won't have it in the future. They're just on the way here. My past was more painful than you think, but I got through it. I once posted on my WeChat friend circle that God once closed a door on me, and then I said to God, please close the window for me, because I'm going to turn on the air conditioner. And I Yang was amused by what he heard. Sister Huamin, you are so domineering. Of course, if you can't control life, life will control you. At that time, you'll be like a trash can, accepting all kinds of negative emotions. In the end, after a long time, the trash will rot in your stomach and mold, and you'll be ruined. You're right. I feel like I'm going to grow fur now. That's why you have to open your heart and clear your mind. I want to, but I don't know what to do. I can't even sleep well now. And I Yang lowered his eyelashes and said faintly, I've developed a sleeping plan for you. Here, go back and try it out. First, adjust your sleep, and then I'll customize other treatment plans for you. As he spoke, Huamin pulled out a form from his pocket and handed it over, and I Yang took it and looked at it. He seemed to be in a good mood because the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Sister Huamin, why does this plan include watching anime? You want me to watch 2 episodes of Naruto every day? Isn't that too childish? And Ayang looked at Huamin, amused. Japanese anime is very good. It's not like anime, so it's not childish. The main character has a lot of positive energy. Go back and watch it first. I promise you'll fall in love with it. Then, we'll have time to discuss the plot. Okay, I'll listen to you. Then, and Ayang carefully put the plan into his pocket. The two chatted well and added each other on WeChat. Huamin suddenly thought, if those fans knew that she had N.I. Yang's WeChat, they would be so envious. They would explode with envy. There are still 2 bottles left. Why don't we both drink them? N.I. Yang glanced at the remaining 2 bottles of red wine. If you like, I'll drink with you. Huamin was actually a little dizzy. If they drank more, they would probably drink more. It was rare for N.I. Yang to be in a good mood, so she didn't want to be a wet blanket. After finishing the last 2 bottles, Sister Ingzi opened the door and saw the 2 drunkards walking in an S shape. Oh my God, you actually let N.I. Yang drink. You're crazy. I'm going to file a complaint against you. Huamin's agent pointed at her and yelled. Chapter 593. You're welcome to complain. This is the number of our director. After speaking, Huamin took out President Wu's business card from the pocket of her lab coat and stuffed it into her agent's hand. Then, she walked away, This woman really wants to go to the heavens. The agent had been in the industry for many years and had seen all kinds of women, but she had never seen a woman like her who was so strange and arrogant. However, Yang seemed to like her a lot. Sister Ingzi, I wanted a drink. Huamin is a very nice person. Please don't complain. Before Yang could finish speaking, she immediately rushed to the bathroom and vomited. Sister Ingzi was so angry that her face turned pale. Huamin drank a little too much and felt like she was floating when she walked. Drinking during work hours was really bad. Although it was for work and to treat Yang's illness, it didn't affect her at all. However, the effect wasn't too good. She walked toward Deputy Director Guo's office in a daze. She planned to ask for leave from Deputy Director Guo so that she could go home and sleep for a while to sober up. However, when she reached the door, she found that it was unlocked. Just as she was about to knock, she heard someone inside. Director Qi, don't be like this. Promise me that you won't be mistreated. My brother-in-law is the deputy director. Let me tell you, whether you can be promoted or not is up to me. My brother-in-law isn't here today, so I can sign on his behalf. Do you understand? Deputy Director Guo's brother-in-law said arrogantly. Director Qi, I have a boyfriend. Don't be like this. If worst comes to worst, I won't be promoted. When Huamin heard this, she knew that the two people inside were up to no good. She should just leave. However, just as she was about to leave, she heard a scream from inside help. There was only one scream, and then there was silence. Huamin reflexively rushed in and saw an extremely disgusting scene. Department head Qi pressed a young nurse under his body. He covered the nurse's mouth with one hand and grabbed the nurse's skirt with the other. Let her go, Huamin said coldly. Fuck, raping a little girl in broad daylight. That was fucking disgusting. Huamin had never seen such a disgusting man. It was broad daylight, and they were in the hospital in the office of the deputy director. Minister Qi turned around and saw that it was Huamin. He immediately said fiercely, I'm telling you, don't meddle in other people's business. That's not meddling in other people's business. You're committing a crime, you know? She's lucky that I'm interested in her. The nurse's eyes were red and swollen from crying under the man's body. When she saw Huamin, it was as if she had seen her savior. Save me. Shut the fuck up. Let's see how I'll play you to death later. Department head Qi grabbed the nurse's hair and slammed her against the desk. This was not a light blow. Minister Qi's eyes were bloodshot, and he reeked of alcohol. It seemed that he had drunk a lot of alcohol, otherwise he wouldn't have lost control like this. The problem was that Huamin had also just drunk alcohol. So, when Huamin saw him grabbing the nurse's hair and slamming her against the desk, her eyes were about to spit fire. She walked over in a few steps and slapped Department Head Qi's bald head and face. Department Head Qi didn't think that Huamin would be so crazy. He only cared about covering his face with both hands and forgot to resist. When he realized what was going on and reached out to hit Huamin, Huamin reacted quickly and pressed his head against the desk. Then, she picked up the expensive crystal ashtray that was on Deputy Director Guo's desk. With a loud bang, she slammed the ashtray onto Department Head Qi's head. His head immediately started bleeding. The nurse was so scared that her whole body trembled. Department Head Qi's scream attracted a lot of attention. Quick, call the police. Huamin hit me. Department Head Qi complained. 20 minutes later, Qinshu had just walked out of his afternoon meeting when he received a call from Gao Ran. He had a feeling that nothing good would come out of this kid's phone call at work. As expected, your wife is at the police station. Hurry up and bail her out, Gao Ran said with a headache. He couldn't even remember how many times Huamin had been sent to the police station. When he heard that Huamin was at the police station, Qinshu's face instantly darkened. Chapter 594. 15 minutes later, the Maybach was parked in front of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. The truth was, he didn't have to come personally because Gao Ran could have just let her go. However, Gao Ran knew that Qinshu treasured Huamin a lot, so he would definitely come personally to pick her up. The problem was, the situation was very complicated. Huamin hit someone, and someone was going to sue her. On the way, Gao Ran had already sent Qin Chu a WeChat message about what happened. Qin Chu's face darkened as he called Wu Zhongxing. President Wu immediately asked Deputy Director Guo to take care of the situation. When Qin Chu arrived, Deputy Director Guo was there as well. Huomin was sitting there drinking coffee, and with her was the nurse who was almost raped by Department Chief Qi. Head nurse, I'm a little scared. The nurse was new. She was an intern in the neurosurgery department, so she wasn't under Huomin. However, she knew Huomin. After all, Huomin was the president of the Hua Foundation and was an important person at South Side. Don't be scared, it'll be fine. I'll resign as soon as I get back. Department Chief Qi will definitely take revenge on me. I'm just sorry for dragging you into this. But if you don't save me, I'll probably lose my virginity, the nurse said with red eyes as she grabbed onto Huomin's hand. Even if I don't know you, I'll still save you. Plus, you're my colleague. Don't think too much about it, and you don't have to resign. This time, I swear, I'll kick that scumbag out of here. Huomian felt that even though she was only a head nurse, if she reported what had happened to Director Wu, he would be in a better position. Even if that person was Deputy Director Guo's brother-in-law, he would still have to resign. This kind of black sheep, this kind of scumbag who didn't respect women, deserved to be cut into pieces. Yet another attempted rape victim. Huomin's heart was still burning with anger. However, when she suddenly saw a familiar figure, she immediately calmed down. She then muttered, "Damn you, Gao Ran. Didn't I tell you not to call Mr. Qin?" She didn't expect that despite her repeated warnings, Gao Ran would still betray her without any integrity. When Qin Chu walked in, Gao Ran pointed in his direction. Qin Chu walked over. Gao Ran sent him a WeChat message saying that Huomin had injured someone after drinking and the other party wanted to sue her. Drunken assault? His wife? How dare he drink in the hospital in broad daylight? Not only did he drink, he even got drunk. Not only did he get drunk, he even caused trouble. Did he hurt someone? Qin Chu's feelings were indescribable. He was not angry because Huomin had caused trouble, but because Huomin had mindlessly rushed forward to save him. What would he do if Minister Qi accidentally hurt Huomin? Even if Huomin lost a single strand of hair, his heart would ache. Luckily, she hurt someone else. When Huomin saw Qin Chu, he was so scared that he guiltily hid behind the young nurse. The young nurse didn't know what to do. Head nurse. Qin Chu walked over and looked at Huomin behind the young nurse. He only said 2 words, "Come out." "Honey." Huomin obediently came out from behind the young nurse. He lowered his head like a child who had done something wrong. Before Qin Chu could say anything, his phone rang. "Qin Chu, what I'm saying is, just fire the 2 of them, and we'll call it a day. Is that okay?" President Wu was going all out. He even wanted to fire Deputy Director Guo, who had worked for him for many years, just to give Qin Chu an explanation. However, Qin Chu didn't appreciate it at all. "No, that's not what I want." "Then what do you want to do?" President Wu asked anxiously. "You don't have to worry about that. Fire them first. I have a plan." After speaking, Qin Chu hung up the phone. Then, he stared at Huomin with a serious expression on his face. "Honey, I caused trouble again. I'm so sorry. I made you worry." Huomin took the initiative to admit his mistake and decided to use a good attitude in exchange for leniency. Chapter 595. Come back with me first. With that, Qin Chu grabbed Huomin's hand and led her away as if no one else was around. Hey, why did she leave? I still want to sue her. What's wrong with the police?" Director Qi came to the police station with a bandage on his head after getting it bandaged at the hospital. He looked at Huomin, afraid that she would run away. The truth was, he had been unhappy with Huomin for a long time. Ever since Huomin forbade him from using the Hua Foundation's money, he wanted to pick a fight. If it weren't for his brother-in-law, Deputy Director Wu, who kept warning him not to do it, he would have taught Huomin a lesson a long time ago. Today, she had ruined his plan, so Director Qi decided to complain first and teach Huomin a lesson. She had someone to bail her out, so of course we had to let her go. Someone to bail her out? So what if you bailed her out? Director Qi said with disdain. There's nothing special about bailing her out. All I know is that you're done for. You better pray for yourself. Gao Ran looked at this person with pity. Of all the people he could have messed with, he had to mess with Qin Chu's beloved wife. He was speechless. To be honest, he had wronged Director Qi this time. Director Qi really wasn't the one who started this. It was Huamin who took the initiative to teach him a lesson. After all, Huamin was the one who stood up for him. I'll pray for myself. Haha, do you know who I am? My brother-in-law is Deputy Director Guo of Southside. Then do you know who's behind Huamin? Gao Ran asked, amused. Of course I know. Isn't it the Hua family? Isn't she just a bastard from the Hua family? What's there to be proud of? She hasn't been acknowledged by the Hua family for so many years. Recently, Hua Xiqian made her the president of some stupid foundation. She doesn't know her place anymore. Huamin, that little bitch, I'll teach her a lesson sooner or later. Director Qi was still boasting shamelessly. Be careful with what you say. Be careful of what you say. Trouble comes from the mouth. I'm not afraid. I am my brother-in-law. What's there to be afraid of? The Hua family won't protect her. Minister Qi didn't seem to care about Hua Min's identity at all. I can tell you very responsibly that you're dead meat. Then, Gao Ran smashed the documents in his hand on Minister Qi's head and said rudely, Didn't want to sue? Fill in the form. Ouch. Officer, be gentler. It hurts. Qin Chu dragged Huamin to GK headquarters instead of going home. Along the way, Qin Chu drove without saying a word. It was obvious that he was in a bad mood. Honey, do you want some water? Huamin picked up the bottle of Evian mineral water and handed it over. No. Hubby, are you hungry? Let's go eat something. I'm not eating. Honey, are you tired? Do you want me to drive for a while? Huamin volunteered. Qin Chu's expression finally changed a little. He turned his head and stared at Huamin's face. You want to drive? Yes, yes. Huamin nodded vigorously. Are you sober yet? Aren't you afraid of drunk driving? Huamin was speechless. Qin Chu's words made Huamin completely speechless. Gao Ran really did tell him everything. GK headquarters. Qin Chu pulled Huamin's hand in his office and sat her down on the sofa. He pulled a chair over and sat across from her. It was the standard way of interrogating a criminal. Mode officially began. Tell me, how much did you drink? Qin Chu asked coldly. 2 bottles. Huamin stuck out 2 fingers. Tell me the truth. Qin Chu obviously didn't believe him. Haha, I actually drank 3 bottles. Huamin stuck out another finger. But from what I know, 10 bottles of red wine went missing from my wine cellar. Uncle Li said you came back to the castle. Huamin immediately felt guilty. It seemed like the butler was also an old man who liked to snitch. What a scam. Chapter 596. Ahem. I did take 10 bottles, but I didn't drink that much, Huamin immediately explained. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Tell me, are you hurt? No. Really? Qin Chu obviously didn't believe her. Really, I smashed that bastard's head with an ashtray. I'm fine, Huamin said confidently. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Instead, he grabbed Huamin's right hand and asked, Where did this wound come from? It turned out that when the ashtray shattered on top of that bastard's head, the glass shards pierced through Huamin's palm. It was just a small wound, and she didn't even notice it. She really didn't know how Qin Chu found out. She remembered that she was very careful and clenched her fists. Honey, it's just a small wound. Haha. Huamin lowered her head guiltily and stole a glance at Qin Chu. Then, she noticed that Qin Chu's face was slowly turning cold. Then, Miss Huamin, please tell me, what is considered a big wound? Is it losing your head? Qin Chu asked coldly. Huamin shook her head and didn't dare to say anything else. The more she said, the more mistakes she would make. Qin Chu's method of extorting confessions was terrifying. When Mr. Qin flipped out, it was really scary. She instantly felt the room turn cold and the temperature drop by a few degrees. His aura was like 1,000-year-old ice. Honey, if there's nothing else, I'm going to go back to work, haha. Huamin thought that she should leave first. She wanted to wait until Mr. Qin calmed down before communicating. You're not allowed to leave. Sit here. After speaking, Qin Chu got up and walked to his desk. He seemed to be busy with work. Assistant Yang came in with a cup of coffee and flattered, A young lady. Here's your coffee. Thank you. Huamin was about to take it. Qin Shu said coldly, don't give her coffee. Honey, I'm thirsty, Huamin said pitifully. Bring her 2 bottles of red wine. Qin Shu ordered. Boss, this isn't a good idea. Little Yang was also confused. Was it really okay to give a young lady red wine to quench her thirst? Although red wine was expensive and the boss was not short of money, wasn't it too extravagant to drink wine like water? And would it really quench his thirst? This doesn't make sense, right? Was his boss a little too playful? Or did he want to get a young lady drunk and have sex with her in the office? Upon hearing the word red wine, Huamin immediately began retching. He still felt dizzy after drinking with Yang. If he continued to drink, he would be crippled. Aren't you good at drinking? Drink up. I'll let you drink to your heart's content this time. Qin Shu said word by word. Honey, I know I was wrong. Huamin looked like he was about to cry. What were you wrong about? Qin Shu raised his eyebrows and asked. Everything. I shouldn't have drunk. I shouldn't have hit you. I shouldn't have caused trouble. Anyways, I shouldn't have gone to the police station. I shouldn't have made you worry, and I shouldn't have gotten hurt. Huamin admitted his mistakes with a good attitude. Assistant Yang saw that there was a conflict between the couple, so he immediately hid outside the door. He was afraid that it would affect him. After all, the boss was very scary when he was angry. Plus, the couple was playing tricks. It was very difficult for a little follower like him to understand. Your thoughts are so clear, and your words are so logical. It seems like you're not drunk either. I think you can drink 2 more bottles, Qin Shu said slowly. Uffed. Huamin wanted to vomit blood when he heard Qin Shu's words. Chapter 597. Honey, I know I was wrong. Please don't torture me anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I want to throw up. Huamin pretended to cry. However, Qin Shu didn't budge at all. She sat on the sofa like a block of wood, not daring to move or drink coffee. Qin Shu had been typing on his phone the entire time. He seemed to be busy. Huamin couldn't continue like this. She thought that she had to think of a way to soften her husband's heart. So, she covered her chest with her hands and lay down on the sofa. As expected, Qin Shu immediately noticed her and immediately got up. Honey, what's wrong? Qin Shu's heart fluttered when he saw that Huamin wasn't feeling well. Honey, my stomach hurts. Huamin frowned and said pitifully, the alcohol must have hurt your stomach. Let's go to the hospital. Qin Shu put on his jacket and immediately picked up Huamin. I don't want to go to the hospital. I want to die from the pain. My husband doesn't love me anymore. He's mad at me. I don't want to live anymore. I want to die from the pain. Huamin pouted and cried. Qin Shu lowered his head and looked at Huamin with a complicated expression. His heart ached. Huamin, do you know how worried I was about you? Qin Shu hadn't called her by her full name in a long time. It seemed like he was really angry. No wonder his right eyelid was twitching so early in the morning. I know. Huamin pursed her lips and said in a low voice. Do you know that every time I hear that you're at the police station, my heart... Qin Shu paused. His voice was trembling. It seemed like Mr. Qin was a little emotional. I'm just afraid that you'll get hurt. You may never be able to understand that feeling. I don't have any other requests for you. You like to work in the hospital, and I'll indulge you. Wherever you want to go, I'll accompany you. Whatever you want to eat, I'll make it for you. But can you help me take good care of yourself? Can you take care of me? Yes, Huamin slowly replied. She slowly raised her hand that was covering her chest and wrapped it around Qin Shu's neck. Hubby, you don't know how urgent the situation was at that time. That scumbag wanted to rape our colleague in the hospital. If I didn't do anything, I'm afraid he would have succeeded. He used his power to bully others. He deserved it. Beating him to death would be a light punishment. Huamin said angrily, So? You become a prostitute? Huamin was once again speechless. Do you know Taekwondo? She shook her head. Do you know Sanda? Huamin still shook her head. Do you know martial arts? Huamin continued to shake her head. If you don't know anything, then where did you get the confidence to save someone? Did you know that if that guy wasn't drunk and reacted slowly, you would have been injured? Men are stronger than women. Qin Shu looked at her and asked. At the time, I was drunk too, so I acted on impulse. I didn't think too much. So, I told you not to drink. I knew that you'd get into trouble if you drank too much. But you still did it behind my back. Honey, I drank for a reason. I wanted to help. Huamin anxiously tried to explain. Qin Shu looked away. I don't want to hear the reason. I only want to see the result. In the end, I was only slightly injured. I'm really fine. Huamin waved her injured hand. She licked her lips and smiled shamelessly, seeing her act like a spoiled child. Qin Shu's heart softened, his gaze softened. Seeing the change in Mr. Qin's expression, Huamin immediately struck while the iron was hot and continued to act like a spoiled child. Honey, I'm so hungry. Can you take me to eat something? I want to eat Xian's ramen. After speaking, Huamin moved her lips closer and rubbed Qin Shu's chin. Her expression was so cute. It was because she didn't know how to act like a spoiled child that she looked so clumsy and cute. Chapter 598. I really don't know what to do with you. Qin Shu sighed and finally admitted defeat. Huamin immediately laughed when she saw Qin Shu's smile disappear. Does your stomach still hurt? Qin Shu asked worriedly. I'm probably just hungry. Let's go eat. Okay. Qin Shu nodded and walked out with Huamin in his arms. Put me down. Your employees will go crazy if they see us like this. Huamin thought that if Qin Shu carried her all the way downstairs, she would be the center of attention. She would definitely make GK's headlines, then let them go crazy. Qin Shu insisted on carrying Huamin downstairs. After they got into the car, he first found a first aid kit and disinfected Huamin's palms before putting a Band-Aid on them. Finally, the two of them drove to Xian's ramen for lunch. During this time, there was a small interlude. When Qin Shu walked out of the elevator with Huamin in his arms, Jiang Linyue happened to be on her way back from lunch. Upon seeing this scene, she froze for a second, then she took the initiative to greet him. Good afternoon, President Qin. Qin Shu only nodded and walked out with Huamin in his arms without even looking at her. The other employees all secretly talked about how much the president spoiled his girlfriend. Jiang Linyue's heart was in turmoil. No one knew that she was so jealous that she was going crazy. If one day the president could carry her like this and walk out of the company under everyone's watchful eyes, even if she had to die, she would be willing. She was so jealous of Huamin. That woman wasn't as good as her in every way, but she had a chance because she met Qin Shu too early. Wasn't he just a high school classmate? What was so great about her? She didn't believe that there was an unbreakable love in this world. She had to break them up. She had to push Huamin away from Qin Shu. Imperial Star, GK Film and Television's grand opening was less than 2 days away, and the day after tomorrow was the official day. So you did not dare to be negligent. These days, he came to work on time every day. Overseeing the headquarters, the movies produced by Imperial Star were also very popular in the cinemas. They must have made a lot of money. Right now, everyone was focused on the battle between GK and Imperial Star. Suyu ate a high-end takeout and looked at the company's stock on the computer. Suddenly, his phone rang. It turned out that it was Tang Chuan talking in the group. Only Suyu, Tang Chuan, and Wei Liao were in this group. The three of them were good friends. Lord Su, come out, come out. Tang Chuan was burning with impatience. Speak. Suyu only replied with one word. Wei Liao didn't say anything. She didn't know if he had his phone with him. According to reliable sources, Miss Huamin did something earth-shattering at Southside this morning. What is it? Suyu didn't even want to eat when he heard Huamin's news. He immediately put down his chopsticks and picked up his phone. What happened? What happened? I want to hear. As expected, Wei Liao was lurking. Tang Chuan. This morning, Huamin beat up the director's brother-in-law, who is also a director at Southside. Apparently, she smashed his head with an ashtray. It was quite a bloody scene. Wei Liao. Huh. She's that vicious? It seemed that Huamin was a woman of character. She finished the appraisal. Suyu, why did she beat him up? Tang Chuan. Look, Lord Su is Lord Su. He always goes straight to the point. Suyu, hurry up and tell me. Cut the crap. Tang Chuan. That director was going to rape the young nurse in his brother-in-law's office. You know, some of the young nurses are reluctant to do it for the sake of their own interests. Some of them just give in. But this newbie has a bad temper and resisted. Huamin happened to be at the intersection and heard it. She rushed in, saved a young nurse, and beat the man up. Wei Liao. Huamin is a chivalrous woman. Suyu, then where is she now? Is she hurt? Suyu sounded very worried. Like Qin Shu, he was also worried about Huamin. Chapter 599. Tang Chuan. Don't worry, your beloved girl is fine, but that guy was beaten up pretty badly. I heard that he was brought to the police station. Wei Liao. Is she still at the police station? That shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't Qin Shu have gone to bail her out? Tang Chuan. Yeah, the latest news is that Huamin was taken away by someone. Suyu, what's the hospital's attitude? How are they going to deal with this? Suyu was more concerned about how they were going to deal with that guy. If the director didn't do anything about it, then he would take the director's place and enforce justice. Tang Chuan. I heard that Wu Zhongxing flew into a rage and fired that guy and the deputy director. Wei Liao. Fuck, even the deputy director was fired. Looks like the deputy director was also unjustly implicated by his brother-in-law. Huh. Tang Chuan. Don't worry, I have the latest news. Less than half an hour after the dismissal order was issued, the police went to the hospital and took the two people away. They said that they were suspected of corruption, embezzlement, and many other charges. The ICAC will investigate. Suyu, it must be Qin Shu's doing. Tang Chuan, I think so too. Huh, so those two people will have to eat prison food again. Suyu was silent for a few seconds, then said, tell the prison to treat them well once they're in. Suyu emphasized the word treat, and Tang Chuan immediately understood what he meant. Haha, you're doing this for Huamin, but they don't even know what you're doing. What's the point? Tang Chuan laughed. Just do what I tell you to do. Why are you talking so much? Tang Chuan. Okay. I got it, Lord Su. Wei Liao. Where did you get this information from? Is it accurate? Tang Chuan. Don't worry. I guarantee it's real and effective. When I was hospitalized, I hooked up with a young nurse. We added each other on WeChat and slept with each other a few times. Haha, it's pretty good. That girl always talks to me about Southside when she's free. Sometimes, she also talks about Huamin. After she finished talking to me today, I thought it was pretty interesting. Lord Su should be interested. Wei Liao, I really have to hand it to you. Even though you're hospitalized, you still know ass. Tang Chuan, please pay attention to your words. Be more elegant. What? I'm just a bedmate. Ha. Among the three of them, Tang Chuan was the most playful. What about Wei Liao? He was good at talking, but when it came to real actions, he was no good. He had dated a few socialites in the past, and they were all together in the name of dating. Later on, they broke up because their personalities did not match. He usually didn't mess around. As for Suyu, although he was known as a playboy, they all knew that Suyu was an unyielding man. He had climbed through the ranks in the army. Although he appeared to be a playboy, he was actually more infatuated than anyone else. Unless he didn't fall in love, once he got serious, it was still very scary after the gossip ended. Suyu suddenly wanted to see Huamin. He suddenly missed her. He took out his phone and reached out to stroke the screensaver. Suyu's eyes gradually warmed at this moment. The office door rang. Come in. Suyu put away his phone and looked up and walked in. Boss, the preparations are almost done. How many people have signed the agreement of intent? There are 5 A-list celebrities and 13 B-list celebrities. Annie Leong doesn't count. Very good. Qin Shu, you've gone overboard this time. Suyu smiled. Are you going to let them carry out the plan now? And asked. No, it's still early. With Qin Shu's brain, he might have time to deal with the aftermath. I want to carry out the plan on the morning of the opening of his new company. In a few hours, even if he's a god, he won't be able to do anything. Suyu was going to go all out this time because he realized that fighting with Qin Shu was very interesting. Huamin was eating noodles at a noodle restaurant when a colleague from the nursing home sent her a WeChat message. Huamin held her phone and said in surprise, "President Wu even fired Deputy Director Gua." Chapter 600. Qin Shu didn't say anything and just ate his noodles in silence. Then, Huamin received another message from his colleague, and he almost jumped out of his skin. What? Taken away by the police? Embezzlement and embezzlement? Then, Huamin quickly looked at Qin Shu and asked, "Honey, did you do this?" "Yeah." Qin Shu nodded. "Haha, good job. You're doing a good deed. Deputy Director should have been fired a long time ago. He's not a good person. He tried to use the Hua Foundation's money over and over again, and even borrowed money from me to renovate his house. He's so shameless. If your director doesn't clean up, I'll clean up Southside for him. I don't want your workplace to be a mess." Then, Qin Shu picked up a napkin and elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. "That's great. Now that the two black sheep are gone, Southside is completely peaceful. The nurses don't have to worry about being taken advantage of or threatened anymore." Huamin was very happy. Qin Shu asked someone to do a simple investigation, and they immediately found out that the two were guilty of a lot of crimes. They were sent straight to jail. What they didn't know was that Su Yu had ordered them to go to jail. Once they went in, their days would be very, very miserable. After the two finished their noodles, they looked at the time and saw that it was still early. "You still smell like alcohol. Don't go to Southside. So many things happened today. You should go home and rest." "Okay, today is Friday. Remember to go back to Southside Manor. We'll have a good weekend together." Qin Shu lovingly pinched Huamin's little face. "Okay, Mr. Qin, I'll go back to our mansion and warm the bed. I'll wait for you." "Good boy." Then Qin Shu drove Huamin back to Southside to pick up his car, and then went straight back to GK. Huamin was very obedient. Because he was in the wrong, he obediently drove his Audi R8 back to South Hill Manor. Afternoon. After Qin Shu finished his meeting, he walked out of the conference room, exhausted. Assistant Yang immediately ran over, looking panicked. "Boss, something happened." "What's wrong?" Qin Shu frowned slightly, vaguely feeling that something bad had happened. "There's a building in T-City. When the building was being handed over, the building collapsed. A few owners and workers who were renovating were hit and were sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. In the end," Yang didn't dare to continue. "Go on." "In the end, 3 died and 9 were injured," Xiao Yang said with difficulty. He had just received a call from the branch company. The person in charge was completely confused and didn't know what to do. Qin Shu's expression changed slightly. 3 dead and 9 injured. This accident was too big. Buy a ticket immediately. I'll fly over. Now. Yang was a little dumbfounded. "Yes, you're coming with me," Qin Shu instructed. "Yes, boss." Then, the two of them hurriedly set off. Before boarding the plane, Qin Shu sent a WeChat voice message to Huamin. "Honey, there's an emergency at the branch company. I'm going to T-City first. Rest at home during the weekend. I'll come back to you as soon as I'm done." "Okay. Remember not to pick the wildflowers by the roadside." "Huh," Huamin replied with a smile. T-City was famous for its beautiful women. The streets were filled with long-legged women, so Huamin purposely joked around. After waiting for a long time and not receiving a reply from Qin Shu, Huamin called back. However, his phone was turned off. She guessed that he might have boarded the plane. "A young lady. Here's your fruit." The maid knocked on the door and came in with a large plate of fruit. Huamin lay on the chaise lounge, bored as she watched TV. She was truly disappointed that Qin Shu wasn't coming back. She was bored to death sleeping in such a big house. Just then, a piece of news suddenly appeared on TV. According to our reporter, there was a construction accident in T-City. A building that GK Corporation's subsidiary just completed in T-City collapsed. The owners and workers who were renovating it were hit. 3 dead and 9 injured. The person in charge of the subsidiary is missing. According to sources, GK Corporation's president, Mr. Qin Shu, will arrive in T-City in 3 hours to deal with the accident. We will continue to follow this news. After hearing the news, Huamin jumped out of bed with a shocked expression on her face. Chapter 601. It turned out that something so serious had happened. No wonder Mr. Qin was in such a hurry to go to T-City. Huamin and Qin Shu planned to spend the weekend at the castle. Huamin even bought some vegetable seeds from the market and planned to plant some vegetables with Qin Shu in the garden in front of the castle. Now it seemed that the plan was ruined, but it was a big deal that someone died. Huamin was no longer in the mood for a vacation. She opened the window to get some fresh air. She clasped her hands together and prayed silently. Please don't have any more casualties. Please rest in peace. She also hoped that Mr. Qin would be able to solve the problem. Imperial Star Headquarters. Su Yu was just about to get off work when it knocked on his door and walked in. Boss, good news. What is it? Su Yu stood up, grabbed his jacket, and walked out. Something happened at GK's subsidiary company in T-City. Apparently, after the building was handed over, the building collapsed. 3 of the owners and renovation workers died, and 9 were injured. The province is paying attention to this, and it's causing a lot of commotion. Qin Shu went there himself, and might not be back for a while. The new company's opening is the day after tomorrow, and didn't need to say more. Su Yu was able to fully comprehend it. Oh, really? Su Yu was slightly surprised. Yeah, God is on our side. If we follow the plan, GK's film and television company won't be able to open by the day after tomorrow. If it goes down the drain, GK's reputation in the industry will plummet, and the stock market will be affected as well. This is a great opportunity. And smile. Qin Shu is really unlucky this time. It seems like the winner has already been decided. How boring. Su Yu originally wanted to see if he could carry out his plan at the critical moment. With Qin Shu's intelligence, how is he going to deal with this? But now it seemed like someone died in T-City, and it would take at least 3 days to deal with it. The new company's opening was the day after tomorrow. If Qin Shu couldn't come back, GK would be in a state of disunity. Su Yu, on the other hand, didn't gloat too much. He just felt that this outcome was already predestined. Let everyone get off work early today, Su Yu instructed. All right, I'll arrange it now. Su Yu left the company, got into his Lamborghini, and left. He ate and drank as usual, but if Qin Shu wasn't home, what was Huamin doing? Su Yu really wanted to look for her, but it was just a thought. After all, he couldn't take advantage of someone's perilous state. What he wanted was to openly snatch someone from Qin Shu's hands. Instead of harassing someone's wife while their backyard was on fire and their husband was not around. That would be too embarrassing. It wasn't something that Lord Su would do. Huamin was restless the entire night. She didn't even reply to Ling Ling's WeChat messages. A young lady, dinner is ready. Do you want to eat downstairs or have it delivered here? Butler Lee asked politely. I'm not eating, Uncle Lee. I'm not hungry. Who would be in the mood to eat at a time like this? Okay, I'll ask them to take it away. Whenever you're hungry, just let me know. Okay, Huamin nodded. Then she anxiously stood by the window. At this moment, she really wanted to do something for Qin Shu. But there was nothing she could do. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was Qin Shu. It had been 3 hours since he turned off his phone. It seemed like he had gotten off the plane. Honey, I'm here. Honey, I saw the news. T-City. Huamin anxiously asked. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Qin Shu's tone was calm, just like usual. He didn't vent his anger on the people around him. He would never vent his anger on Huamin. Thank you for your hard work. Take care of yourself. Okay, I will. Have you eaten yet? Qin Shu asked. No, I don't feel like eating. I'm worried about you. Good girl, go eat. I'll take care of it soon. If you don't eat, I'll be more worried. But I really don't have an appetite, Huamin quietly replied. Still, you should eat less. Aren't we going to have a baby? Your health is the most important thing. Qin Shu chuckled. Okay, I'll go eat a little. In the end, Huamin decided to compromise. Honey, yeah, I'm sorry. Qin Shu gently said. Why are you sorry? Huamin was confused. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.